Chapter 976, The Forbidden Area. Shopkeeper Chi felt a buzzing sound in his head. Little girl, why didn't you take it one step at a time? Did you really die in there? If you died, His Excellency would be furious. Shopkeeper Chi did not dare to hide the truth and quickly told Enfong about what had happened. Unexpectedly, Enfong replied, "Don't worry, the 9th miss will be fine." Shopkeeper Chi felt that Enfong's brain was most likely damaged. What did he mean by definitely fine? Their group name had already turned gray and he was still so carefree. No, he had to inform the palace mistress immediately. Shopkeeper Chi quickly reported the matter to the palace mistress. He did not expect the palace mistress' reply to be even simpler. It was just 2 words, "Got it." Shopkeeper Chi was confused. Why were they all so calm? How would he know that the palace mistress was so happy when she heard that Yun Chujio was dead? Why would she be worried? The palace mistress thought to herself, this time it was not her fault. Yun Chujio was the one who brought trouble upon herself. Baiming could not blame her. Baiming had also received a message from Enfong. Although he was also very worried, he felt that Yun Chujio would not be in danger because she had gone through similar incidents. However, he still could not completely relax. He decided to take a flying spirit tool and head to Tianyuan Academy. At the same time, the higher-ups of the Tianyuan Academy also heard the news. Although they were very surprised, the entrance test was voluntary. If they had not yet entered the institute, they would not be considered as students of the Tianyuan Academy. Even if they died, it had nothing to do with the Tianyuan Academy, therefore, they just sighed and left things as they were. Yun Chujio did not know about the commotion outside the secret realm. After she brought Gung Yi and Shi Xian into the forbidden area, she found that this place was no different from the outside. It was just a valley. However, she found that she could not find the way out. She thought that this place should be an array formation like before. Senior Brother Feng Ming. Senior Brother Feng Ming. Junior Sister Little Jiu. I knew that you would not abandon me. Feng Ming ran over from afar. When he saw Yun Chujio and the other 2, his heart was moved beyond words. The 4 of them started to look for a way out. After half a day, there was no progress at all. As the sky gradually turned dark, the 4 of them decided to rest for the night first. The next morning, everyone had their breakfast. Yun Chujio said, "Let's take a look inside. Since this place is called a forbidden area, either something is locked up here or there is something good hidden here. Let's take a look first. Maybe we can find something to help us escape." Feng Ming and the other 2 were used to listening to Yun Chujio's plans, so they followed Yun Chujio inside without any objections. After walking for more than half a day, they had not found anything unusual. Moreover, the 4 of them had some unexpected gains. Because no one had entered this place for many years, the violet brocade grass was everywhere. The 4 of them did not even bother to pick more in the end. The violet brocade grass that they had found now was enough to propel them up the ranks. Yun Chujio discovered a problem. "Senior brothers, have you noticed? There isn't a single demon beast here. There are only some spirit bees and spirit butterflies. It's really strange. Junior Sister Little Jiu, do you think there is a monster locked here? Maybe those demonic beasts been eaten by it?" Feng Ming looked around vigilantly, his voice slightly trembling. "Whether it's a monster or something else, we only have a chance to get out if we find it. I reckon that once that thing dies, this formation will automatically break. Other than that, I'm afraid we have no other way to get out." Yun Chujio sighed and said. Chapter 977, Sleepwalking. Feng Ming and the other 2 did not object, and they continued to walk further inside. Yun Chujio tried to use a sound transmission talisman and the chopping board, but they would not activate. It seemed that this place was the same as the other arrays she was in before. Talisman seals and flying spirit tools were forbidden there. The 4 searched for an entire day, but still found nothing. This place was so big that it was boundless. The four walked for an entire day, but they still could not cover the entire area. Junior sister Little Gio, tomorrow is the last day of the test. If we don't get out soon, I'm afraid we won't be able to enter the second round. Gung Yi sighed and said. Don't give up until the last moment. We will be able to get out in time. Trust me. Yun Chujio said confidently. She was not confident at all, but to keep Feng Ming and the other two's spirits up, she could only pretend to believe in her plan. When Feng Ming and the other two saw Yun Chujio's confident smile, they felt much more at ease. Whenever they were in a desperate situation, junior sister Little Gio would think of a way out. This time, her plan would work too. Junior sister Little Gio, why don't you try cursing the heavenly lightning? See if you can split this formation apart. Feng Ming thought for a moment and said. That won't do. First of all, this is a formation within another formation. Moreover, it's a forbidden area. I'm afraid that we won't be able to summon the heavenly lightning. Second, if we shut down the array prematurely, it would be terrible if we let something monstrous out. Third, and most importantly, if we summon the heavenly lightning, this secret realm would be destroyed. If we cause such a huge disaster, I'm afraid that the Tianyuan Academy would not accept us. When Feng Ming and the other two heard that, they were immediately discouraged. Seeing that, Yun Chujio said, Don't worry. Let's rest well for the night. We'll continue looking for clues tomorrow. At midnight, Yun Chujio was sleeping soundly. Suddenly, a sharp pain came from her dantian and she woke up immediately. Just as she was about to use her spiritual sense to check the situation in her dantian, she strangely saw Feng Ming and the other two walking forward stiffly, as if they were sleepwalking. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. What was going on? Sleepwalking? Or was there something making them do that? Yun Chujio imitated Feng Ming and the other two, jumping behind them like a vampire. She almost laughed out loud. She looked like a zombie. The black bead in her dantian shook contemptuously. Is this really the time? This stupid girl still had the mood to play. She was really careless. Yun Chujio followed the three and kept jumping forward. When her legs were sore from jumping, she found that a cave had appeared out of thin air. It seemingly appeared out of thin air. During the day, Yun Chujio and the other two had searched here. There was nothing but flat grassland. Yun Chujio followed Feng Ming and the other two and jumped into the cave. She tried her best to make her eyes seem empty and blank so that she would not be exposed. Feng Ming and the other two suddenly stopped in their tracks. Yun Chujio also quickly stood still. There was only a tiny bit of moonlight shining into the cave. Other than Feng Ming and the other two who were close to each other, she could not see anything else. The ground in this cave was very flat. It should have been artificially dug. It seemed that there was something locked in here. Feng Ming and the other two suddenly collapsed to the ground. Yun Chujio quickly followed suit and collapsed to the ground. However, she opened a small gap in her eyes. She carefully peeked. Yun Chujio heard the sound of chains approach. As the cave was too dark, it was impossible to see what was coming. Yun Chujio did not care and felt that the thing was not far away from Feng Ming. She suddenly jumped up and hurled several bolts of lightning at the thing. Chapter 978, The Nightmare Beast. A burnt smell and a miserable scream came from further in the cave. Yun Chujio saw a monster covered in black fur that was chained by 6 huge chains. Yun Chujio took out the illuminating pearl and lit it up. She then realized that it was an extremely ferocious-looking monster. It had 4 eyes, and they had vertical pupils that looked like reptile eyes. The monster laughed strangely. So it's a little kid with heavenly thunder root spirit. I haven't met anyone with a heavenly root spirit for so many years. I didn't expect one to come to me voluntarily today. I'm afraid I want to see how different someone with a heavenly spirit root is from an ordinary person. You can speak human language. What strange thing exactly are you? Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and asked curiously. So rude. I am not a strange thing. You are the strange thing. The monster roared. Good. Good. You and your whole family are not strange things. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Then she jumped in front of Feng Ming and the others and kicked them out of the cave one by one. After the monster found out what Yun Chujius had done, its 4 eyes showed a disdainful look. Little girl, your little tricks are useless against me. Do you know what I am? What are you? I am the nightmare beast. Those 3 people have already entered the dream that I created. Things will only end one way for them, and that is death. Gahahaha. The nightmare beast let out a strange laugh. Nightmare beast? A dream? Then why don't I just wake them up? Yun Chujio asked in an innocent expression. PFT. If it was that easy to wake them up, I wouldn't be called a nightmare beast anymore. The nightmare beast said proudly. Yun Chujius' eyes flashed with a hint of seriousness. The best way to wake them up is to kill you. As long as you die, they will wake up themselves. Gahahaha. Gahahaha. The nightmare beast kept laughing strangely as if he had heard something funny. He said, Little girl, you are really stupid. I was born from the greed of humans. I am immortal. Otherwise, why do you think they only trapped me here and didn't kill me? Because they tried and couldn't. They couldn't kill you. Then why did you scream when I struck you with heavenly lightning? Yun Chujio felt that the nightmare beast must be bluffing. There was no such thing as an immortal in this world. Humph. Although I can't die, my senses are still there. The heavenly lightning is extremely strong, and it can indeed cause some damage to me. However, despite the pain, it won't threaten my life. Yun Chujio thought to herself that this nightmare beast was really stupid. It unwittingly answered all the questions she wanted to ask. How would she know that the nightmare beast had been trapped here for tens of thousands of years? It was not easy for it to find someone who could talk, so it naturally wanted to brag. Moreover, it thought that Yun Chujio would not be able to escape from its palm, so it did not bother to raise its guard against her at all. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Nightmare beast, if you let us go, I'll give you 100 demonic beasts. You can take turns to let them have fun in their dreams. The nightmare beast curled its lips in disdain. What's the point of torturing demonic beasts? Other than eating, it only knows how to mate. Only torturing people is interesting. People's dreams are colorful, they are far more interesting. Yun Chujio thought to herself, you're a fucking sadist, the people who are tormented by you will exhaust their spiritual sense and die. If you don't let them go, I'll use lightning to strike you. Although I can't kill you, I'll make you suffer. Yun Chujio raised her hand and threw several purple lightning bolts at the nightmare beast. Chapter 979, Speaking plainly, the nightmare beast screams and the smell of burnt fur filled the cave. Stop it, or I'll kill the 3 of them. The nightmare beast regretted being so rude just now. Che! Who do you think you're threatening? Wake them up first, or I'll cut you into pieces and make you run around naked. You like to pry into other people's privacy? I'll turn you completely naked today. The nightmare beast did not expect that Yun Chujio would not be afraid of him. It began to form seals and invaded her spiritual sense, wanting to make Yun Chujio fall into a dream as well. Unfortunately, even after using all its strength, it did not succeed. Instead, it was beaten up by the many weapon spirits in Yun Chujio's spiritual sense. There was also a small version of the stinky girl who struck it repeatedly with the heavenly lightning. The nightmare beast sadly withdrew from Yun Chujio's spiritual sense. It knew that it would most likely meet its end today. Yun Chujio struck nightmare beast repeatedly. After a short while, the nightmare beast admitted defeat. Although it was not afraid of being hacked by knives and axes, the heavenly lightning was unbearable for the nightmare beast. Moreover, its fur was almost completely burnt off. It was too embarrassing. Smelly girl. Stop. I'll wake them up. Nightmare beast cried out in pain. Hearing the nightmare beast's words, Yun Chujio stopped her assault. Why didn't you do this earlier? Why did you have to let me strike you repeatedly before admitting defeat? You asked for a beating. The nightmare beast's heart was on the verge of collapse. It thought back to the time when it was a ferocious beast that shook the entire Tianyuan continent. No matter how powerful those cultivators were, they could not do anything to it. It only needed to use a little trick to make them fall into a dream. Even if they used a formation to trap it later, they could not harm it. Who would have thought that it would encounter such a little monster? It was a heavenly thunder root spirit. It was strange. The heavenly thunder root spirit users should have been wiped out by Tian Dao long ago. Why would they let her run around here? What are you thinking about? You're not weaving a dream for yourself, are you? Quickly wake her up, or it'll continue to strike you. Yun Chujio said fiercely. Only then did the nightmare beast come back to its senses. It retracted the nightmares that had entered the divine senses of Feng Ming and the other two. Only then did the three slowly wake up. The three of them opened their eyes and discovered that they were outside a cave. For a moment, they were a little dumbfounded. It was not until they heard Yun Chujio's voice from inside the cave that the three of them ran into the cave. When they saw Nightmare Beast, they were shocked. What kind of monster was this? It had 4 vertical slitted pupils, yet the fur on its body was curled up like a poodle with curly fur. How could they have known that its fur was originally straight? They had been turned curly by Yun Chujio's lightning strikes. The three of them did not dare to ask any more questions. They stood beside Yun Chujio and looked at Nightmare Beast. Humph. 3 little weaklings, they'll let you off today for the sake of the little girl. The Nightmare Beast decided to try and maintain its reputation as a fierce beast in front of Feng Ming and the other two. Cut the crap. How do we get out of here? Said Yun Chujio fiercely. She was never used to show-offs regardless of what they were. Nightmare Beast immediately became timid and said in a flattering manner, "I'll send you out. However, don't mention what happened here when you get out. I really can't afford to let others see me like this. Don't worry. This is a forbidden area. It was not right for us to come in here in the first place. Of course, we won't say anything about you either." Yun Chujio curled her lips. No one else could groom such a good-looking beast. The 4 eyes of the Nightmare Beast blinked and said shyly, "Little girl, I can see that your bones are clear and strange, and your roots are excellent." Yun Chujio curled her lips. Speak plainly. Chapter 980, Curly Hair. The Nightmare Beast almost choked on his words. She was the only one who could talk to him like that. He had killed all the others. He endured the embarrassment. Little girl. In short, you will have a bright future. When that time comes, can you let me go? Nightmare Beast said while licking his lips. Let you go? Let you go and continue to harm others? Yun Chujio pursed her lips. This Nightmare Beast was indeed not very smart. You can't say that. Isn't there a saying that if you kill an evil person, you save others? I will only target evil people. Besides, it's also okay to let people have nightmares and fear you. Nightmare Beast blinked its 4 eyes, it said pitifully. What you said makes some sense, but who can guarantee that you'll do as you say? If you get out and went back to your old ways, who would control you? Yun Chujio felt that what Nightmare Beast said was not unreasonable. However, once such a powerful being was released, it would be difficult to restrain it. You. I'm most afraid of you. Nightmare Beast said ingratiatingly. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Forget it. You're trapped here now, so I can easily strike you. If you regain your freedom and run faster than a rabbit, how would I do the same? I can swear on my inner demon oath. I will obey you for the rest of my life. Nightmare Beast said pitifully. Oh. Then swear on your inner demon oath. I, Nightmare Beast, swear on this, I will obey you from now on. Nightmare Beast realized that he did not know Yun Chujio's name. Yun Chujio. I will obey Yun Chujio from now on. If I violate this oath, I will be struck by lightning every day. Nightmare Beast said seriously. Outside the cave, there was a sound of thunder. It was obvious that the inner demon oath had taken effect. Nightmare Beast suddenly realized what had happened. What the fuck? It had been led into doing this by the little girl. She had not agreed to save it at all. Why did it swear the inner demon oath? Feng Ming and the other two were also dumbfounded. They did not know whether it was this Nightmare Beast that was too stupid or junior sister Little Jiu that was too smart. How did it trick the Nightmare Beast into swearing an inner demon oath? It even swore to listen to junior sister Little Jiu's words in the future. Could it be that it was looking for a beating of its own accord? The Nightmare Beast was filled with regret. Originally, it wanted to trick the little girl into agreeing to save it in the future. But now, before it could do anything, it had already dug itself a deep hole. Could it be that it had been locked up for a long time and had become stupid? Yun Chujio immediately smiled with curved eyes. Curly hair, I didn't expect you to be so eager to follow me. Don't worry, I'm a kind person. If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you out. Curly hair. Nightmare Beast was so angry that it wanted to bang its head against the wall. My curly hair was originally straight and long, all right. You were the one who turned it curly. It was all your fault. You dare call me curly hair? How could a majestic beast be called such a vulgar name? However, Nightmare Beast only dared to think about these words in his heart. The inner demon oath was already in effect. If Yun Chujio told it to die now, it had to do it. Otherwise, it would attract the wrath of the heavenly lightning. Little fairy, to express my sincerity, I have already sworn the inner demon oath. You must save me in the future. Nightmare Beast said in a fawning manner. Curly hair, what can I do to save you? Yun Chujio felt that it was not bad to have such a beast at her side. It was invincible on the outside. Whoever dared to provoke her, she would make him have nightmares every day. It would scare them to death. These chains are made of 10,000-year-old dark steel. Either you find the key, or find the divine god axe and break these 6 chains. Only then will I be able to escape. Chapter 981, The Life of a Beast is Short. Yun Chujio touched her chin. This Nightmare Beast was actually in the same situation as Brother Merman. It would have been awesome if she had the divine god axe at that moment. Unfortunately, even if she could find the divine god axe, she did not know where Brother Merman had ended up. Curly hair, don't worry. I will remember this when I get out of here. I will definitely release you in the future. You can stay here in peace for now. Oh right, do you need me to leave some low-level demon beasts for you to play with? Nightmare Beast nodded. Leave anyone to play with me, demon beasts are fine too. Right now, I'm so bored that I spend all day practicing with spirit bees and spirit butterflies. It's a pity that they dream of nothing but nectar. It's so boring. Yun Chujio retrieved a number of low-level demon beasts from the Great Void Mystic Realm. Those low-level demon beasts were intimidated by Yun Chujio and the others, and all of them shivered the moment they left the Great Void Mystic Realm. After Yun Chujio chased those low-level demonic beasts out of the cave, she said to the Nightmare Beast, Curly hair, send us out. The Nightmare Beast said reluctantly, Little fairy, the life of a beast is short. Please don't make me wait for too long. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm more anxious than you. With such an awesome subordinate like you, I can kill whoever I want. How awesome would that be? Yun Chujio waved her little hands and said. The nightmare beast suddenly had a thought, should just stay here obediently. Why does it feel that if I go out, I will become this little girl's lackey? Don't just stand there, hurry up. If we don't get out soon, we'll probably exceed the time limit. If I can't enter the Tianyuan Academy, how am I going to find the key for your release? Hurry up. Yun Chujio urged impatiently. The nightmare beast regained his senses and quickly formed a seal. The array formation in this forbidden area was a piece of cake for him. However, were it not for the 10,000-year-old dark steel that held him, he would have left long ago. A white light flashed in front of Yun Chujio and the other three. When they opened their eyes again, they were already outside the forbidden area. Senior brothers, let's wait here. We don't want to run into other potential troublemakers. You guys look like you still need some rest. You guys can sleep for a while, I'll be on guard. Yun Chujio looked at the sky, it was already the early morning of the 5th day of the first round of the test. In another 4 hours, they would be automatically teleported out. Feng Ming and the other two nodded in agreement. Although they had been awakened, their spiritual senses were still a little uncomfortable. Their heads were dizzy, and the three of them began to meditate and rest. At that moment, on the large display screen outside Tianyuan Academy, the name of Group 250 lit up once again. Moreover, their ranking soared to first place. What was even more terrifying was that the amount of violet brocade grass that they had gathered was more than 10 times more than the group in second place. The square instantly exploded with commotion. What was going on? Could it be that the display screen was broken? How could the Group 250 that was clearly already dead be revived? Moreover, it had soared to the first place. How was this possible? Shopkeeper Chi had heard that debeaming was coming today, so he had been waiting in the square for a long time. When he saw what was happening on the display screen, Anfeng's words suddenly popped up in his mind. He had said that the little girl would be fine, could it be that the little girl had something special about her? Speaking of which, if there was nothing special about her, His Excellency would not have taken a fancy to her. While everyone discussed what had just happened, the examinees were sent out one after another. The first thing they did was to look at the screen. They were both happy and worried. Those ranked in the top 1,000 were naturally exceptionally happy, but those left behind were extremely disappointed. Chapter 982, shot herself in the foot. Yin Sulian was in the 18th group. She had thought that they would definitely win first place because of her group members. Even though her spiritual power was the lowest in her group, the other three were all at the 6th level of the spirit sect. Among all the examinees, they should have been the strongest group. What she had never expected was that there was a group that was ranked ahead of theirs, and it was that trash group. This was impossible. Those 4 trash should have died long ago after entering the forbidden area. Why did they not die, but instead, they ended up ranked ahead of them? That was impossible. Right at that moment, Yun Chujio and the rest were also teleported out. Yin Sulian immediately walked in front of Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio, you cheated. Yin Sulian's words immediately caused a commotion, and everyone's gaze was focused on her. Yun Chujio glanced at Yin Sulian and laughed lightly, cheating? Why do you say so? Are you questioning the fairness of the Tianyuan Academy's assessment? If you think that I cheated, just go ahead and report it to the teacher. Don't cause a commotion here. You. Just you wait. I'll go and report it to the teacher right now. You must be cheating. How can you have more violet brocade grass than us? This is impossible. Yin Sulian said angrily. Oh. So it's because we have more than you that you think we are cheating? Are you the only one who can get first place? I'm sorry. I didn't know there was such a rule. If you had told me earlier, I would have picked less. After all, your Yin family is so powerful. I'm so afraid of offending you. Yun Chujio said exaggeratedly. Yin Sulian was so angry that her face turned red. Yun Chujio, you're spouting nonsense. How could 4 trash from the Azure Mystic Continent find so much violet brocade grass? You must have used some underhanded means. Yin Sulian, don't spout lies you cannot prove. It's fine if you have evidence, but if you're just jealous of me, you're just being petty. It's despicable to slander others like that. Yun Chujio said with a sneer. You. The 4 of you were forced into the forbidden area by us. How could you possibly pick so many violet brocade grasses? Yin Sulian was forced to speak the truth by Yun Chujio's aggressive tone. The faces of the 3 people in her group instantly turned pale. That idiot. Although Tianyuan Academy did not explicitly prohibit examinees from robbing, it was still frowned upon. Moreover, they knew that there was a forbidden area, yet they still forced people into it. Was that not looking for trouble? Yin Sulian also regretted it after she realized what she had just shot herself in the foot. However, since it was already out in the open, there was no room for her to go back on her words. Although we were in the wrong, the crime of Yun Chujio and the other 3 people entering the forbidden area privately was even more serious. Moreover, they might be able to prove that the violet brocade grass had been obtained through underhanded means. Yin Sulian, is what you said true? Yun Chujio and the other 3 people entered the forbidden area. The teacher who was in charge of the test walked over. That's right, I saw the 4 of them enter the forbidden area with my own eyes. Teacher, they must have cheated. Yin Sulian said angrily. When Yin Xinlian, who had just rushed over, heard Yin Sulian's words, she was so angry that her head hurt. You idiot! There were 100 ways to kill this Yun Chujio, but you just had to use the stupidest method. You are so stupid that there was no cure. Yin Xinlian regretted not rushing over earlier. When she heard that Di Biming was coming over, she meticulously groomed herself, so she was a little late. She did not expect Yin Sulian to use such a dirty trick during the assessment. Chapter 983, The Popular Pretty Boy, Yun Chujio, did the 4 of you really enter the forbidden area? The teacher stared at Yun Chujio and asked. Trespassing into the forbidden area was no small matter, so they had to question her as well. Yun Chujio had a few thoughts in her mind, but she still admitted it. Yes, one of our team members accidentally stepped into the forbidden area when they were robbed by Yin Sulian and Yin Xuecheng. To save our companion, the 3 of us also followed them into the forbidden area. The teacher carefully sized up Yun Chujio. This little girl was quite sharp-tongued. Her few sentences not only explained the process clearly but also showed that they had entered by mistake. Moreover, they were forced in by Yin Sulian and Yin Xuecheng. In that case, what did you see in the forbidden area? And how did you get out? The teacher stared at Yun Chujio's expression. The inside of the forbidden area is just a valley. It's no different from the one outside. It's just that there was not a single demonic beast in there. After we entered, we felt very tired, so we slept for 2 days and 2 nights, then we came out inexplicably. Yun Chujio's face revealed a puzzled expression at the right time. Feng Ming and the other 2 were also veterans of acting. They did not learn anything else from Yun Chujio, but their ability to lie and act grew. The expressions on their faces were the same as Yun Chujio's. They also looked equally puzzled and confused. All right, let's put this matter aside for now. You will enter the second round of the test 3 days later as usual. The instructor did not know what exactly happened in the forbidden area. When he heard Yun Chujio and the other 3's report, he was not sure for a moment, so he decided to report it to the higher-ups of the academy. Yin Sulian still wanted to say something, but when Yin Xinlian pulled her arm, she decided to just keep quiet. Yun Chujio jumped in front of shopkeeper Qi and giggled. Shopkeeper Chi, are you here to support us? How was it? Our performance was not bad, right? After that incident, Shopkeeper Chi felt that this little girl seemed to be really carefree despite the situation she was just in. Perhaps she really had some special ability. It was better for him to be polite, thus, he said respectfully, Miss Chiu, your talent is indeed amazing. Congratulations on entering the second round of the test with the first place result. Just as Yun Chujio was about to pretend to be humble, she saw a flying spiritual device flying over from afar. That flying spiritual device looked very familiar. Damn, wasn't that the pretty boy's flying spiritual device? Didn't I tell him that I wanted to hide our relationship for the time being? Did he come to visit me because he couldn't bear the pain of longing for me? Sigh, I am too charming. There is no other way. The pretty boy couldn't keep his hands off me. Just as she daydreamed about herself, she heard the people in the square explode from excitement. Regardless of gender or age, they were all equally delighted. Oh my God! It's His Excellency's flying spirit tool. It must be His Excellency. I'm going to see His Excellency soon. I'm so happy that I'm going to faint. Get lost. You're a man, why would you faint? If anyone will faint, it's us girls. Your Excellency, I miss you so much. If His Excellency can smile at me, even if I die today, I will be happy. Sigh. We can only take a few glances from afar. His Excellency does not allow others to get within 3 feet of him. Don't even think about it. His Excellency's fiancée is one of the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Others definitely won't have a chance. Yun Chujio instantly exploded in anger. Fuck. She did not expect the pretty boy to be so popular. There were even men who coveted him. She had too many rivals in love. Chapter 984, Stay Away From Me. Look, Qin Mingzhu and Bai Li Yan are here as well. Together with Yin Xinlian, there's bound to be fireworks. These 3 people don't see eye to eye with each other. They will soon fall out over who gets to be His Excellency's fiancé. Sigh, some people will die from overeating while others will starve to death. Many girls like such an outstanding person like you, Your Excellency. There isn't anyone left for the rest of us. Forget it. How can you compare to Your Excellency? Whether it's your family background, appearance, or spiritual power, how can you be compared to His Excellency? Yun Chujio overheard that what the others were saying, 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Beauties? Humph. You guys are destined to not be able to compete with me. I have already stamped and certified my ownership of the gigolo. None of you have a chance. If she was not too weak now, she would have announced to the world that the pretty boy was hers no matter what. All of you, fuck off. However, now that she was the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend, she could use it as an excuse to get close to the pretty boy. She did not want him to be seduced by those vixens. Just as Yun Chujio was secretly exploring her imagination, Di Baiming's flying spirit tool landed. As soon as Di Baiming got off the flying spirit tool, everyone in the square immediately greeted him, "Greetings, Your Excellency." Di Baiming waved his hand and gestured for everyone to stop greeting him. Although the Hall of Longevity had not unified the Tianyuan continent, the Hall of Longevity was still highly respected. Di Baiming's had a high standing in everyone's hearts. Oh my God! Your Excellency has become even more charming. Quick, help me up, I can't take it anymore, I'm going to faint. At first, Your Excellency and young Master Wuji's looks were on par, but now it seems Your Excellency is more charming. If only I could be closer to Your Excellency, then I would die of happiness. Your Excellency, it seems like you're looking for someone. You must be looking for one of the 3 beauties. Looks like he finally has a candidate for his fiancée. Qin Mingzhu, Bai Li Yan, and Yin Xinlian thought the same. The 3 of them looked at each other, their eyes full of ire for each other. The three of them walked towards Di Biming. The onlookers quickly made way for the three of them. Mingzhu greets you, Your Excellency. It has been a long time. How has Your Excellency been? Qin Mingzhu was the first to speak. Yun Chujiu evaluated Qin Mingzhu from amongst the crowd. Qin Mingzhu was the only daughter of the sect leader of fundamental sect. It was said that she walked a dignified and generous path, and her reputation had always been good. However, she was too shameless. To get close to him, she did not even want to use her surname. Mingzhu? I think it's more like a dead fish's eyeballs. Di Biming hummed lightly but did not say anything. Yin Xinlian looked at Qin Mingzhu with disdain, then, she bowed. Xinlian greets Your Excellency. A few days ago, the palace mistress asked Xinlian to help her find a prescription. Xinlian has already found it. Why don't I pass the prescription to Your Excellency now? Yun Chujiu pursed her lips. This Yin Xinlian was smart. She used the palace mistress as an excuse. Once the pretty boy took the prescription, she would take the opportunity to tell him some things to take note of. Then, wouldn't she hook up with him? She was shameless. Yin Xinlian looked at Di Biming with anticipation. It was an idea that she thought of last night. As long as there was a chance to get close to Your Excellency, she did not believe that he would not be moved by her. She would definitely become the new palace mistress. Di Biming said coldly, just give the prescription to shopkeeper Qi. Also, the fragrance on your body is too strong. Stay away from me. Chapter 985, Is there something wrong with your neck? Yin Xinlian could not believe her ears. Bailey Yen, who was beside her, covered her mouth and laughed. Sister Yin, Your Excellency can't stand strange smells. You'd better stand back a little. If the smell ruins Your Excellency, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Yin Xinlian's face flushed red. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. She glared at Bailey Yen with hatred, then, she forced out a smile and said to Di Biming, Your Excellency, then I will pass the prescription to shopkeeper Qi. Please send my regards to the palace mistress. Di Biming responded with a faint mmm. Bailey Yen saw that Qin Mingzhu and Yin Xinlian had hit a wall. She was very pleased. It seemed that the person Your Excellency likes must be her. Big brother Biming, are you here to see me? Bailey Yen tilted her head and asked. Yun Chujiu was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Shameless. Shameless. Did you just call him Big Brother Biming? And you even tilted your head? Are you fucking crazy? Why did you tilt your head like a tilted tree? Di Biming frowned. We are not that close, and I don't have a sister. Also, is there something wrong with your neck? Bailey Yen was instantly dumbfounded. In the past, although His Excellency was a little fussy, he was only taciturn. Why was he so vicious today? It was too hurtful to one's self-esteem. When she saw Di Biming's handsome face, she thought of Di Biming's abnormal level of spiritual power, and then she thought of the Hall of Longevity's superior status. Immediately, the trace of dissatisfaction in her heart turned into admiration. When the onlookers saw that the 3 pearls had been rejected so thoroughly, they could not help but guess that His Excellency was not here for them. Perhaps he was here to visit the headmaster and teachers of the academy. Although His Excellency had a cold personality, he still respected the headmaster and teachers of the Tianyuan Academy very much. Just as everyone guessed at his motives, His Excellency shouted coldly at the crowd, Why aren't you here yet? Everyone looked at each other in confusion. Who was His Excellency calling out to? The 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy's hearts skipped a beat. Could it be that His Excellency is regretted treating me like that? All the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy could not help but take a few steps forward. Di Biming frowned and said, Stay away from me. The three beauties of Tianyuan Academy felt like they were about to hit a wall. Fortunately, the three of them had embarrassed themselves together this time and it was a draw. Di Baiming's face darkened. Yun Chuzhou. Why aren't you here yet? Do you want me to invite you? Everyone's eyes instantly turned to Yun Chuzhou, especially some of the girls. Their gazes were like swords and knives. Yun Chuzhou secretly complained in her heart. Pretty boy, although your performance just now was very good, but by greeting me like this, aren't you painting a target on my back? Can't you grow a brain? Although Yun Chuzhou was cursing in her heart, she did not dare tarry. She ran out of the crowd, trying to think of a way as she ran. Greetings, Your Excellency. Yun Chuzhou imitated Qin Mingzhu and the other two and bowed. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. He said impatiently, my mother told me to instruct you to cultivate well and not to stir up trouble. If there are people who bully you, just look for shopkeeper Qi. Also, look for shopkeeper Qi for your tuition fees. I still have some important matters to attend to. I was just passing by to let you know. How troublesome. Only then did Yun Chuzhou understand Di Baiming's intention. So he was here to establish his authority. She just did not know if it would have the opposite effect. A woman's jealousy was very terrifying. After Di Baiming had finished speaking, he turned around and boarded his flying spirit tool then left. Chapter 986, Give Birth to a Monkey. As soon as Di Baiming left, everyone started discussing what had just happened. TSK, Your Excellency's personality is as unique as ever. He doesn't show any mercy at all. That's right, Your Excellency was just cold in the past, but now he's actually speaking so sharply. It's really embarrassing for those three. Oh right, I didn't expect that Yun Chuzhou was really the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend. It seems that the palace mistress still holds her in high regard. Otherwise, she wouldn't have specially asked Your Excellency to personally deliver the message. I reckon that Yun Chuzhou's mother might have some dirt on the palace mistress, that's why she's so concerned about her. No wonder Yun Chuzhou could pick so many violet brocade grass. Perhaps the palace mistress gave her something useful to help her, that's why her counterattack was successful. Don't tell me that the palace mistress wants Yun Chuzhou to be Your Excellency's fiancé. Impossible. With His Excellency's status? His fiancé must be of equal status. Besides, His Excellency's expression just now was so contemptuous. If it wasn't for the palace mistress forcing him, he probably wouldn't even bother to talk to that trash Yun Chuzhou. What you said makes sense. The palace mistress often holds banquets, but I've never heard her mention such a person before. I reckon there's no chance. Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yen sized up Yun Chuzhou, their hearts filled with disdain. How could a good-for-nothing at the first level of the spirit sect catch His Excellency's eye? However, Yin Xinlian's thoughts were different from the other two. How was the palace mistress able to persuade His Excellency with his personality like that? If he was not willing to come, he could have asked someone else to explain things to Yun Chuzhou. His Excellency definitely treated this Yun Chuzhou differently, although it was not to a certain extent, at least it was not as bad as he treated her. This Yun Chuzhou was definitely a scourge and they had to think of a way to get rid of her. Yun Chuzhou heard everyone's discussion and felt that it was more or less as expected. She then heaved a sigh of relief in her heart and said to Shopkeeper Qi, let's go back to the inn. It's time for lunch. The corner of Shopkeeper Qi's eyes twitched slightly. This Miss Jiu really did not take us seriously. If an ordinary girl could talk to our esteemed lord for a few words, she would be so unhappy that she would faint. Yet this person could still think about lunch. Those girls were also furious to death. This Yun Chuzhou really did not know how lucky she was. She actually still wanted to eat after personally speaking to His Excellency. What a good-for-nothing. Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yen felt even more contempt in their hearts. How could His Excellency like such a piece of glutton trash? There was no need to worry at all. Yun Chuzhou followed shopkeeper Qi back to the Long Wind Inn. She had just entered her room when she saw Di Baiming sitting in front of the table waiting for her. "Prince Charming, didn't you leave? I thought you had really left." Yun Chuzhou eagerly went over. "I'm here to see you, why would I leave right away?" Di Baiming saw that Yun Chuzhou was still the same as before, so he was relieved. He was afraid that Yun Chuzhou would act unfamiliar with him when she saw the crazy behavior of those people. "TSK, my Prince Charming, I realize that you are really a Prince Charming in the Tianyuan continent. Those infatuated people all want to give birth to a monkey for you." Yun Chuzhou said sourly. "Give birth to a monkey? Give birth to what monkey? Do you mean they want me to bear their children?" Although Di Baiming felt that Yun Chuzhou was jealous, what was the meaning of giving birth to a monkey? Humph. In any case, it was to covet your beauty. Your performance today was very good. From now on, this is how you will do it. To those shameless little bitches, you will have to use this kind of ruthlessness to sweep them away. Yun Chuzhou thought of how the three beauties of Tianyuan Academy were so utterly defeated by Di Baiming until they vomited blood. She felt extremely happy in her heart. Chapter 987, I'll help you kill them. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. "I heard that you had a dispute with the Yin family." "Prince Charming, that is not my fault. I originally wanted to lay low, but it was too infuriating. I couldn't hold it in." "You won't blame me, right?" Yun Chuzhou said angrily. "You don't like them. I'll help you kill them. The Yin family is nothing." Di Baiming said lightly. Yun Chuzhou's heart skipped a beat. Such words were more tempting than "I love you." The gigolo was getting better at flirting. "No need, no need. I will take care of it myself. Besides, isn't the Yin family a big family? They're not that easy to get rid of. Prince Charming, you only need to instruct your secret guards to protect my grandfather. As for me, they won't dare to do anything to me in the Tianyuan Academy," Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. She knew that the various forces in the Tianyuan continent could not be eliminated just like that. Di Baiming nodded. "Don't worry. I've already sent more people. By the way, I heard from Enfong that your group name suddenly turned gray. That's why I rushed here. What's going on?" "Humph. Yin Sulian and Yin Shuecheng forced senior brother Feng Ming into the forbidden area. In order to save senior brother Feng Ming, I had to bring Gung Yi and Shi Xian in as well. Guess what's inside?" "What is it?" Di Baiming's eyes darkened. Damn the Yin family. It seemed like he had to teach them a lesson. "There is a monster with black hair locked inside. It says that it is a nightmare beast." "A nightmare beast?" "There are records in the ancient books. That is a famous ferocious beast. It can enter a person's spiritual sense and weave dreams. In the end, the person's spiritual sense will be exhausted and they die." "How did you escape?" Although Di Baiming knew that Yun Chuzhou and the others were safe and sound, he still asked nervously. Although that curly hair is quite powerful, he is really too stupid. He told me all about his background and was tricked by me into swearing an inner demon oath. He said that he will obey me in the future. He is really stupid." When Yun Chuzhou thought of the nightmare beast's stupid and cute appearance, she laughed uncontrollably. When Di Baiming heard the whole story, the corner of his eyes twitched. This nightmare beast was really too stupid. However, it was also possible that being locked up for 10,000 years had made it turn stupid. When Di Baiming saw Yun Chuzhou's blushing face, his heart softened. "Little Jiu. Ah. Prince Charming, what's the matter? Yun Chujio stopped laughing and looked at Di Baiming curiously. Di Baiming did not say anything. Instead, he stood up and walked closer to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio's heart pounded non-stop. The pretty boy was definitely going to kiss her. Should she hide or make the first move? While she was struggling internally on what to do, Di Baiming had already carried her to the bed and leaned over to kiss her. The moment lingered for a while. Di Baiming managed to resist the urge to go further and forced his gaze away from Yun Chujio's slightly red and swollen lips. Yun Chujio also felt the changes in Di Baiming's body. She grinned and said, "Prince Charming, I'm hungry. Let's have lunch." Di Baiming's mind was filled with unholy thoughts and half of it disappeared. He stood up awkwardly and prepared lunch for Yun Chujio. Di Baiming took out some food from his storage ring and placed it on the table. "Come eat. It's all your favorite food. Prince Charming, you are too virtuous. TSK, if those three beauties knew that you're serving me like this, wouldn't they be so angry that they would bang their heads against the wall?" Ha ha ha. Yun Chujio looked at the table full of food and said smugly. Chapter 988, A huge embarrassment. Di Baiming curled his lips but did not say anything. Instead, he helped Yun Chujio to get a bowl of rice. "Oh right, Prince Charming, why did your mother give me the title of an old friend's daughter? Could it be that she's moved on? Does she think that I'm not that bad as a daughter-in-law?" Yun Chujio was puzzled by this. Di Baiming's face stiffened. "Little Jiu, I think my mother should be. She thinks that doing this will bring you trouble." Yun Chujio was slightly stunned before she smiled. "She is really reserved. If she wants to bring me trouble, I just need to kiss you in front of everyone. There will definitely be many of your admirers who would want to kill me." Di Baiming could not help but laugh. Although that mother of his was not forgiving, she was not that ruthless in her heart. Otherwise, she would not have been tricked by little Jiu time and time again. Yun Chujio ate her lunch and yawned. "Prince Charming, I haven't slept well these few days. I need to catch up on my sleep. However, I feel that the time I spend with you is too precious. I can't bear to sleep anymore." Di Baiming's heart softened. "I'll sleep with you. Don't worry. I won't leave until you wake up." Yun Chujio then took off her coat and lay on the bed. "Prince Charming, come over quickly. I want to hug you to sleep." Di Baiming nodded, took off his coat and lay on the outside of the bed. Yun Chujio hugged Di Baiming's arm and fell into a deep sleep very quickly. Di Baiming sighed. He could see but he could not eat. This was really torture. Little Jiu was already 17 years old, why could she not grow up faster? Yun Chujio slept until the next morning. The first thing he did when he opened his eyes was to kiss Di Baiming on the face. The consequence of that was that he was pressed under Di Baiming's body and they kissed for a while. She was so dizzy that he almost fainted. Damn, the Prince Charming was too fierce. If he could go further in the future, he would make me unable to get out of bed all day long. In her mind, she imagined a lot of inappropriate scenes, and a wretched smile appeared on her lips. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. "Little Jiu, what are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking that you will be very fierce in bed in the future." Ah. I'm not thinking about anything. I meant that your spiritual power is very strong." "Yes, that's what I meant." Yun Chujio almost bit her tongue. Damn, it was so embarrassing. Di Baiming believed her and felt the feelings in her words. He curled his lips. "Little Jiu, don't worry. I will let you experience it properly when the time comes." Experience? Experience what? Fuck. You. You actually know how to say things that are inappropriate for children. Yun Chujie's face turned red from embarrassment. She replied nonchalantly, "Humph. Who doesn't know how to boast? When the time comes, we can do it for 300 rounds, and you might still not even be able to win. Di Baiming's eyes darkened. Little Jiu, why don't we practice now? Yun Chujiu jumped out of bed from fright. This guy was too aggressive. She laughed awkwardly. Well, talk about it later. Well, talk about it later. I still haven't blossomed yet. Di Baiming just teased her. When he saw that she was shy, he did not say anything more. The two of them washed up and went out for breakfast. Yun Chujiu sighed. If only there were something that can change your appearance. You could go out with me openly. Now you're like a spy. Although it's exciting, we can't be seen in the open. Chapter 989, was telling the truth. Di Baiming's heart skipped a beat. Little Jiu, don't worry. The next time I visit, I can accompany you out for a stroll. Is there really such a treasure that can help you disguise yourself? Others won't be able to find out. Yun Chujiu said excitedly. A cultivator's spiritual sense was very powerful. A simple disguise could fool people who were not familiar with them. If they were familiar with someone, they would still be able to recognize them. Di Baiming nodded. I'll think of a way. I should be able to get it. Wait for my good news. Prince Charming, if you can get one, you might as well get two. I want one too. Yun Chujiu said slyly. Okay, I'll try my best. When Di Baiming saw Yun Chujiu trying to please him, the desire in his body stirred again. It was really sweet torture. After the two of them had breakfast, they were bored for a while. Di Baiming said, you should prepare for the second round of the test. I'll go home first. I'll come back to see you in a few days. Okay. Prince Charming, you must keep yourself clean. If I find out that you've done something wrong, I won't forgive you. Yun Chujiu said fiercely. Di Baiming curled his lips. Don't worry, I don't want anyone else but you. Yun Chujiu felt that her little heart was not listening to her again. Damn it, the Prince Charming had become an upgraded version of her. He had seduced her so much that she did not want him anymore. Little Jiu, no matter who provokes you, you can go ahead and teach them a lesson. If you can't handle it, tell me and I'll help you do it. Okay, but I'll try my best to take care of them myself. I'll use them as practice. If I can't handle them, I'll tell you. Hee hee. The feeling of being protected and cherished by others was too damn good, wasn't it? Keep these concealment talismans. Concealment talismans have limited use in the Azure Mystic continent, but their full power can be used in the Tian Yuan continent. Once activated, as long as you don't cause any spiritual fluctuations, people below the third layer of the spiritual venerable realm won't be able to find you. Di Baiming handed Yun Chujiu 5 concealment talismans. Yun Chujiu took them and kept them in her storage ring. She said with a smile, Prince Charming, doesn't your mother want a beautifying pill? Give this universal essence cleansing pill to her. Even if it can't increase the level of her spirit root, it should have a beautifying effect. Yun Chujiu took out a universal essence cleansing pill and handed it to Di Baiming. No matter what, the palace mistress was still Prince Charming's mother, so it was necessary to build a good relationship with her. Besides, no matter what her original intention was, the title of the palace mistress old friend was still helpful to her. Di Baiming took the porcelain bottle and put it away. I will hand it to my mother. Little Jiu, my mother will change her attitude towards you sooner or later. You don't have to worry too much. Yun Chujiu thought to herself, she was worried. What a joke. The one who should be worried should be that old witch. However, she would not be stupid enough to tell the truth. Instead, she pretended to be strong and nodded. Prince Charming, sincerity is everything. Your mother will be touched by my actions sooner or later. Seeing that Yun Chujiu was so sensible, Di Biming's heart softened even more. He felt that she was smart, beautiful, strong, and sensible. In short, no matter how he looked at her, she was perfect. He could not wait to be together with her all the time. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming was obsessed with her beauty. She was very proud in her heart. Her words were not for nothing. Indeed, if she wanted to get a man, she had to be good to his family. Her words were not deceptive. Chapter 989, was telling the truth. Di Biming's heart skipped a beat. Little Jiu, don't worry. The next time I visit, I can accompany you out for a stroll. Is there really such a treasure that can help you disguise yourself? Others won't be able to find out. Yun Chujio said excitedly. A cultivator's spiritual sense was very powerful. A simple disguise could fool people who were not familiar with them. If they were familiar with someone, they would still be able to recognize them. Di Biming nodded. I'll think of a way. I should be able to get it. Wait for my good news. Prince Charming, if you can get one, you might as well get two. I want one too. Yun Chujio said slyly. Okay, I'll try my best. When Di Biming saw Yun Chujio trying to please him, the desire in his body stirred again. It was really sweet torture. After the two of them had breakfast, they were bored for a while. Di Biming said, you should prepare for the second round of the test. I'll go home first. I'll come back to see you in a few days. Okay. Prince Charming, you must keep yourself clean. If I find out that you've done something wrong, I won't forgive you. Yun Chujio said fiercely. Di Biming curled his lips. Don't worry, I don't want anyone else but you. Yun Chujio felt that her little heart was not listening to her again. Damn it, the Prince Charming had become an upgraded version of her. He had seduced her so much that she did not want him anymore. Little Jiu, no matter who provokes you, you can go ahead and teach them a lesson. If you can't handle it, tell me and I'll help you do it. Okay, but I'll try my best to take care of them myself. I'll use them as practice. If I can't handle them, I'll tell you. Hee hee. The feeling of being protected and cherished by others was too damn good, wasn't it? Keep these concealment talismans. Concealment talismans have limited use in the Azure Mystic continent, but their full power can be used in the Tian Yuan continent. Once activated, as long as you don't cause any spiritual fluctuations, people below the third layer of the spiritual venerable realm won't be able to find you. Di Biming handed Yun Chujio 5 concealment talismans. Yun Chujio took them and kept them in her storage ring. She said with a smile, Prince Charming, doesn't your mother want a beautifying pill? Give this universal essence cleansing pill to her. Even if it can't increase the level of her spirit root, it should have a beautifying effect. Yun Chujio took out a universal essence cleansing pill and handed it to Di Biming. No matter what, the palace mistress was still Prince Charming's mother, so it was necessary to build a good relationship with her. Besides, no matter what her original intention was, the title of the palace mistress old friend was still helpful to her. Di Biming took the porcelain bottle and put it away. I will hand it to my mother. Little Jiu, my mother will change her attitude towards you sooner or later. You don't have to worry too much. Yun Chujio thought to herself, she was worried. What a joke. The one who should be worried should be that old witch. However, she would not be stupid enough to tell the truth. Instead, she pretended to be strong and nodded. Prince Charming, sincerity is everything. Your mother will be touched by my actions sooner or later. Seeing that Yun Chujio was so sensible, Di Biming's heart softened even more. He felt that she was smart, beautiful, strong, and sensible. In short, no matter how he looked at her, she was perfect. He could not wait to be together with her all the time. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming was obsessed with her beauty. She was very proud in her heart. Her words were not for nothing. Indeed, if she wanted to get a man, she had to be good to his family. Her words were not deceptive. Chapter 990, Give me the tuition fees. The two of them continued to flirt for a while before Beiming deactivated the concealment talisman and left. TSK, falling in love here is like having an affair. It's really exciting. Yun Chuzhou mumbled and then went downstairs. Shopkeeper Qi knew of Beiming's whereabouts the entire time. When he saw that Beiming had stayed in Yun Chujia's house for an entire night, he was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. Oh my God! It seemed that he had really underestimated this little girl. His Excellency had been so cautious that he had used a concealment talisman to secretly meet this little girl. Shopkeeper Qi recalled how Beiming had treated the three beauties of Tianyuan Academy yesterday, and then he thought about how Beiming had stayed in Yun Chujia's room for an entire night. Yun Chujia's status was raised in his heart once again. Regardless of how the palace mistress felt about this little girl, with His Excellency's favor, this little girl might really be able to soar to the top. It was better for him to be more polite. Miss Jiu, is there anything you need me to do? Asked Shopkeeper Cheese as old face smiled like a flower. Yun Chuzhou found it funny in her heart, but when she thought of what Beiming said yesterday, this fellow smiled and said, "Didn't the palace mistress say that I should look for you to ask for tuition fees? I need 4 people's worth, a total of 200,000 upper-grade spirit stones." Shopkeeper Chee's face stiffened. Yesterday, His Excellency was just spouting nonsense. The palace mistress had never said such things, but if he did not give it to her, this little girl would definitely hate him. What should he do? Shopkeeper Qi had an idea. Miss Jiu, there are still 2 rounds of tests. After you complete them, they'll give you the spirit stones. Yun Chuzhou pouted. You don't think that I can't pass the test, do you? I'm sorry. I will definitely pass the test. I'll leave it with you for now. I'm going out for a walk. Do you need me to bring you some gifts? Shopkeeper Qi shook his head like a rattledrum. He had already discovered part of Yun Chujia's demonic attributes. Bring him a gift? What a joke, who knows, she might be able to extort him when the time comes. Alright, if you don't want anything, then forget it. It's not that I don't want to give it to you, it's that you don't want it yourself. After Yun Chuzhou finished speaking, she called the Feng Ming trio and hopped out of Long Wind Inn. Shopkeeper Qi wiped the cold sweat on his head. This little girl looked rather lively. Why did she make people feel guilty? Shopkeeper Qi quickly reported the matter of Yun Chuzhou asking for 200,000 high-grade spirit stones to the palace mistress. The palace mistress quickly replied, "Humph. If she passes, then give it to her." Shopkeeper Qi held the sound transmission talisman in his hand and was a little stunned. From the tone of the palace mistress, it seemed that she did not think that Yun Chuzhou and the others could pass the Tianyuan Academy's tests. Speaking of which, they were all at the first level of the spirit sect. The first round could be considered to have been passed by accident. Could they even pass the next 2 rounds? When the sky turned slightly dark, Yun Chujia's group of 4 had just returned. Yun Chuzhou walked in while humming a tune. Shopkeeper Qi went up to welcome her. Miss Jiu, you're back. Yes, Shopkeeper Qi. Although you said that there was no need for me to bring you a gift, I still brought you something. Here, it's a meat bun from Heaven Sent Restaurant. The taste is very good. Take it and eat it. Yun Chuzhou took out a steamed bun wrapped in oil paper from her storage ring and handed it to Shopkeeper Qi. Shopkeeper Qi held the wrapped bun and was actually a little touched. It was not that the bun was very hard to get, but this kind of considerate behavior surprised him. No matter what, Miss Jiu was the master and he was the servant. She still thought of him, it made people's hearts warm. Chapter 991, Confidence or Stupidity. Anfeng, who watched from the corner, saw the dumbfounded look on shopkeeper Chi's face and could not help but give Yun Chujio a thumbs up. TSK, Miss Chio was indeed smart. Old Chi was the palace mistress' confidant, and he was able to gain the recognition of Old Chi. The palace mistress might look at her differently after this. Miss Chio was on a roll. And Feng was actually overthinking things. The truth was that while the four of them were eating, Yun Chujio had a big appetite and a small stomach. She had ordered too many steamed buns, so she packed up the leftovers. When she saw shopkeeper Chi, she gave them to him. Another day passed, and the time for the second round had arrived. After the first round of elimination, there were only 1,000 groups left in the second round of the test out of the initial 4,000. Yun Chujio was curious. She did not know what kind of trial the second round of the test would make them go through. It would be best if it was a team-based one. Otherwise, senior brother Feng Ming and the others might not be able to pass it. She was full of confidence in her ability to help them pass the tests. The teacher in charge of the test finally appeared. He looked around and everyone immediately quieted down. The second round of the test is still a team test. After you are transported to the test locations, there are several scenarios that you can choose from. The difficulty of the demon beasts you encounter is basically the same. The less time you take, the higher the points of the group. The group that is in the top 500 will qualify for the third round. This round of the test is the same as the first round. If you encounter any danger, you can send your spiritual sense into the Jade token and give up. However, once you activate the Jade token, you will also lose the chance to enter the third round. The test begins now. As soon as the teacher finished speaking, a white light flashed before everyone's eyes, and they were teleported to the test location. There were several entrances in front of everyone, and on them were marked, forest, valley, desert, ice field, ocean. Everyone had an epiphany. It turned out that they could choose the scene freely. Most of them chose the forest and the valley. These two scenes were the ones they were most familiar with. The demonic beasts inside were often encountered and they knew their weaknesses. They could get twice the results with half the effort. Junior sister Little Jill, which scenario should we choose? Feng Ming asked in a low voice. He thought to himself, why not choose the desert? After all, they had landed in the desert when they had just ascended. Well, choose this. Yun Chujio walked to the entrance of the ocean. Feng Ming and the other two froze, the ocean. Junior sister Little Jill, did you not sleep well last night? Although we can swim, we are at a disadvantage against sea beasts. Aren't we just looking for trouble? However, when Feng Ming and the other two saw Yun Chujio's resolute attitude, they could only acquiesce and stand in front of the entrance of the ocean. After everyone had chosen their preferred destinations, only Yun Chujio and the others stood in front of the entrance to the ocean. Everyone could not help but laugh. What country bumpkins! You chose the ocean. Do you think you're merfolk? The spiritual power attacks of cultivators would be greatly reduced in the water. Sea beasts of the same level completely crushed cultivators of the same level. These four trash had low spiritual power to begin with, and they even chose the ocean setting. That was equivalent to giving up on the test. It seemed that they had really made it past the first round through sheer luck. The teacher in charge of the test also looked at Yun Chujio and the others in confusion. Although this ocean entrance had always been set up, no one chose this option. This group 250 was the first to choose this scenario in thousands of years. Were they that confident or were they out of their minds? Since all of you have chosen, let the test begin. After the instructor formed a seal, everyone disappeared from where they stood earlier. When they reopened their eyes, they had already entered their chosen environments. Chapter 992, Was that lightning and slow lightning? When Yun Chujio and the other three opened their eyes, they were already in a sea of water. Feng Ming and the other two tried their best to get up to the surface of the water, but unfortunately, they discovered a rock wall instead. This place was sealed. Fuck. They were going to die. Could it be over just like that? Just as the three of them were holding their breaths with ashen faces, Yun Chuzhou handed each of them a pure white bead. Activate this bead, and you will be able to move freely. The three of them did not have time to think. They activated the bead in their hands according to the method that Yun Chuzhou demonstrated. Then, they miraculously discovered that they could breathe and talk freely just like on land. Feng Ming cried out in surprise, "Junior sister Little Jiu, is this a water-repellent pearl? This must be the legendary water-repellent pearl. Isn't it?" Yun Chuzhou smiled and nodded. "Yes, these are water-repellent pearls." Gung Yi and Shi Xian were also very surprised. They did not expect junior sister Little Jiu to have the fabled water-repellent pearl. Junior sister Little Jiu always surprised them. No wonder she chose the ocean environment. However, although they could move and breathe freely in the sea, their spiritual power attacks would be greatly weakened in the water. What if they encountered sea beasts? Could they defeat them? While the three of them were thinking, a sea beast swam in front of them. These days, the three of them had been revising on the various demonic beasts in the Tianyuan continent, but they did not pay attention to the information of the sea beasts. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou said in a clear voice, "That's a level 14 sea beast, the ironfin swordfish. It can shoot water arrows, and its weakness is in its eyes. We will set up a spiritual power shield to deflect its water arrows, and then find an opportunity to target its eyes." Feng Ming and the other two nodded, but they were still unsure. Although this sea beast was a level lower than them, they were still in its preferred environment. Could they do it? Just as the three of them were thinking, the ironfin swordfish began to attack. Several water arrows shot towards the four of them. Feng Ming and the other two quickly used a spiritual energy shield to block the attack according to Yun Chuzhi's instructions, and then launched their own wind blade attacks toward it. Unfortunately, they discovered that the wind blades, which were originally fast on land, traveled much slower in the water. The ironfin swordfish easily dodged the wind blades from all three of them. The ironfin swordfish spat out a bubble disdainfully, "These guys are really weak. They dared to challenge me when they are so weak. They are really courting death." The ironfin swordfish launched its second round of attacks, and hundreds of water arrows shot towards the four of them. After Yun Chuzhou dodged the water arrows, she made her move. As she waved her hands, a few purple lightning bolts slowly swam towards the ironfin swordfish. Feng Ming and the other two almost cried when they saw the lightning bolts traveling at the speed of a turtle. "Junior sister Little Jiu, is this still called lightning? It should be called slow lightning. The slow speed doesn't give it lethality at all. Junior sister Little Nine, you probably didn't expect your lightning to become like this in the water. Looks like they're going to be eliminated in this round of tests." The ironfin swordfish also revealed a disdainful expression. This little girl was even worse than those three. Although purple lightning was relatively rare, at that speed, it could dodge it with its eyes closed. Therefore, the ironfin swordfish completely ignored the purple lightning and continued to attack Feng Ming and the other two. Feng Ming and the other two wanted to cry but they had no tears. It was over. Even if they knew the ironfin swordfish's weakness, it was useless. It was already good enough that they were not turned into Swiss cheese. They had no way to get close to the ironfin swordfish, let alone blind it. Chapter 993, The Clueless Trio. Just as Feng Ming and the other two were in despair, a sudden change occurred. The originally slow purple lightning bolts suddenly sped up and flew towards the ironfin swordfish's eyes. The ironfin swordfish was shocked and quickly dodged to the side. It initially wanted to dodge the purple lightning bolt's attack, but what happened next stunned it. As it dodged, the purple lightning actually turned around and chased after it. Fuck! What the hell was this? How could lightning change directions? Yun Chujia's hands were still waving, and more purple lightning bolts rushed toward it. They were much faster than the previous ones, and they were all targeting the ironfin swordfish's eyes. The ironfin swordfish was so scared that it no longer cared about Feng Ming and the other two. It turned around and ran. The lightning bolts chased after it relentlessly, and the ironfin swordfish was about to collapse from exhaustion. Damn it, what the hell was this? If I knew that that little girl was so powerful, I would not have provoked her no matter what. Help! Someone save me! Unfortunately, even though the ironfin swordfish swam very fast, the small lightning bolts were even faster. A few small lightning bolts struck the ironfin swordfish's eyes. The ironfin swordfish began to roll violently in the water. Then, its belly was facing up. It was dead. Yun Chujio put the ironfin swordfish's corpse into her storage ring. Then, she said to the dumbfounded Feng Ming and the other two, "Let's keep moving forward and try to get out as soon as possible." Ah. Oh. Yes. Feng Ming and the other two's worldview was refreshed once again. So lightning could turn in the water. So lightning knew how to confuse the enemy. It turned out that junior sister Little Jiu was a demon both on land and in the sea. Ah. No, she seemed to be even more demonic in the water. No wonder she chose the ocean, she was that confident. Oh my god, they originally thought that they had already thought that junior sister Little Jiu was already abnormal. However, they did not expect that the abnormality was immeasurable. Junior sister Little Jiu would surprise them with something new every time. She was truly a monster. Yun Chujio led the trio and continued to swim forward. The water in front of them stirred as two huge creatures swam over. Each of them was over 1,000 feet long, and the scales on their bodies sparkled. If it weren't for the fact that they did not have claws, they would have looked like the legendary divine dragons. Sawtooth Arowana, a level 15 sea beast. It has a fierce temperament. Although it can't use spiritual power attacks, because of its huge size, it will directly bite its opponent. Moreover, its body is strong, so ordinary spiritual power attacks cannot harm it. Its weakness is also in its eyes. Yun Chujio described the sea beast simply and neatly. Feng Ming and the other two thought that Yun Chujio was just not human. Not only was her spiritual power abnormal, but her memory was also abnormal. They were together all the time, so they did not know when she studied those records, she probably remembered it after flipping through some books at the bookshop. It was too depressing as a regular human. Junior sister Little Jiu, how do we deal with these two Sawtooth Arowana? Do we use the same method as before? Feng Ming asked in a low voice. Well, first confuse them and then react accordingly. Two Sawtooth Arowana are much more difficult to deal with than one. Moreover, these were a level higher than the ironfin swordfish from before, so things would not be as easy. The two Sawtooth Arowana had already arrived in front of the four people. Their huge eyes revealed a look of disdain. They felt that killing these four weak humans would be too easy. Chapter 994, Sawtooth Arowana, Senior Brother Feng Ming, the three of you surround and attack the smaller one. I'll deal with the bigger one. Yun Chujio whispered to Feng Ming and the other two. Feng Ming and the other two nodded. Then, they heard Yun Chujio say to the big Sawtooth Arowana, "You shameless piece of trash. You're just a stinky fish to begin with, and you call yourself an Arowana? You're shameless. Do you dare to fight me one-on-one?" Although the Sawtooth Arowana did not understand the meaning of being a piece of shit, it still understood the meaning of being shameless. It was so angry that it opened its bloody mouth and lunged toward Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio pursed her lips and summoned the 5 immortal swords to attack the sawtooth arowana. When the sawtooth arowana saw Yun Chujio command 5 immortal swords to attack it at the same time, it was shocked. Oh, so this little girl seems to have some real ability after all. Her spiritual sense is so powerful. However, no matter how powerful you are, you will die here today. The golden scales of the sawtooth arowana were very hard. When the immortal swords stabbed it, they barely made a scratch. The sawtooth arowana was very proud. Its body was extremely strong. As long as it protected its eyes, even a high-level cultivator would be unable to do anything to it, let alone a weak chicken. The sawtooth arowana opened its bloody mouth and lunged toward Yun Chujio again. Its sharp teeth flashed with a cold light. Yun Chujio quickly dodged, woman-fish tangled together in a struggle. Soon, Yun Chujio was at a disadvantage. The sawtooth arowana felt very proud. It felt that it was only a matter of time before it ate Yun Chujio, so it let down its guard. Yun Chujio suddenly waved her hands and shot out several purple lightning bolts. The purple lightning bolts accelerated and quickly shot toward the sawtooth arawana's eyes. The sawtooth arowana still felt arrogant. When it saw the purple lightning bolts coming towards it, it quickly swam aside to avoid them. It did not expect the purple lightning bolts to turn around. The sawtooth arowana had no choice but to keep swimming to avoid them. Although it avoided the eyes, the purple lightning bolts went through the gaps in its scales. The sawtooth arowana felt miserable. Although its scales were very tough, the flesh in the gaps was very fragile. After being struck by the small purple lightning bolts, it was in so much pain that it immediately started rolling. When it was distracted, the rest of the small lightning bolts struck its eyes. Before the sawtooth arowana died, it could not understand why the lightning bolts could change direction. If it was given another chance, it would have left this little demon alone. Seeing that the sawtooth arowana was dead, Yun Chujio quickly went to support Feng Ming and the other 2. At the time, Feng Ming and the other 2 were already forced to the point that they could not retaliate. Fortunately, they had the protection of their spiritual energy. Otherwise, they would have been swallowed by the sawtooth arowana a long time ago. When the sawtooth arowana saw that its companion was dead, it became even more agitated. It stirred up the water in its immediate vicinity in rage. Yun Chujio used her immortal sword to distract it while releasing several small purple lightning bolts. It was exactly the same as the sawtooth arowana from before. 15 minutes later, the sawtooth arowana was also dead. Yun Chujio put away the corpses of the 2 sawtooth arowana and waved her hands. Let's keep moving. Feng Ming and the other 2 had already digested the fact that Yun Chujio was also a demon in the water. They continued to swim forward with Yun Chujio. These 2 groups are probably the easiest. There must be some powerful big guys behind them. If the situation is not good, you guys can go ahead and leave me while I deal with whatever comes. I'll have my own way to escape, Yun Chujio said to Feng Ming and the other 2, as long as all 4 members reached the end, they would be considered to have passed. Therefore, they could still escape if they could not defeat them. Feng Ming and the other 2 nodded in agreement. They were a little nervous. They did not know what kind of sea beast they would encounter next. Chapter 995, Giant Poison Thorn Dolphin. In a short while, the answer to their question was revealed. A round-bodied sea beast covered in thorns swam over from across them. The giant poison thorn dolphin, a 16th level sea beast. The thorns on its body carry a lethal poison and can be shot out of the body. Its weakness is in its rear, but its position is extremely concealed. It also has the protection of the poisonous thorns, so it is extremely difficult to deal with. In a while, I will sprinkle some ink to confuse it. You guys swim ahead, I will delay it for a while and then chase after you. Yun Chujio saw that the giant poison thorn dolphin was really troublesome, so she let Feng Ming and the other two retreat first. Feng Ming and the other two also knew that they would be a burden if they stayed, so they immediately nodded in agreement. Yun Chujiu waved at the giant poison thorn dolphin. "Ugly monster, if you don't want to die, hurry up and make way. Otherwise, I will pull out all your poisonous thorns and turn you into a naked ball." Although Feng Ming and the other two knew that the situation was critical, they still could not help but laugh when they heard Yun Chujiu's words. Junior sister Little Jiu must have been struck bald by lightning so many times that she wanted to share her suffering. The giant poison thorn dolphin was so angry that its body swelled up. The stingers on its body flashed with a dim light and shot towards Yun Chujiu and the others. After Yun Chujiu dodged, she took out the ink that she had prepared beforehand from her storage ring and poured it into the seawater. Instantly, the seawater turned pitch black and nothing could be seen. Feng Ming and the other two ran away from the bottom of the sea while Yun Chujiu secretly shot out several purple lightning bolts, trying to sneak attack the giant poison thorn dolphin. Unexpectedly, the giant poison thorn dolphin was very smart. When it saw the seawater turn black, it was afraid that someone would sneak attack it. It used its poisonous stinger to cover its back, and the purple lightning bolts struck the poisonous stinger. It did not cause any harm to the giant poison thorn dolphin. Moreover, the giant poison thorn dolphin could see Yun Chujiu's position through the light of the lightning. It threw several poisonous stingers at Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu quickly dodged. This guy was like throwing a stone at his own feet. The seawater was pitch black, so she could only rely on the sound of the water to determine the location of the poisonous stinger. In a moment of carelessness, a poisonous stinger pierced her calf. At this time, the ink had already been diluted, and her vision was restored. Yun Chujiu pulled out the poisonous stingers, and then she was furious. "Damn it! Ugly monster, I must pull out all your poisonous stingers today. I'll chop you to death." The giant poison thorn dolphin rolled its eyes in disdain. "Kill me? I'm the one who will kill you. I'll kill you first, and then go after the other three weaklings." The giant poison thorn dolphin's body swelled up, and several poisonous thorns charged towards Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu raised her spiritual energy barrier while deflecting those poisonous stingers with lightning. The purple lightning was ideal for tracking moving targets. Although it could not do anything to the poisonous stingers, it could stop them in their tracks. After some time, the poisonous stingers could only be reabsorbed by the giant poison thorn dolphin. Yun Chujiu and the giant poison thorn dolphin were in a stalemate. Yun Chujiu's purple lightning could not do anything to the giant poison thorn dolphin. Similarly, the poisonous stingers of the giant poison thorn dolphin could not hit Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu was very anxious. She did not have the time to waste with it. If she was eliminated due to a slower completion time, the loss would outweigh the gain. How could she quickly kill this thing? If she wanted to kill this giant poison thorn dolphin, she had to let it shoot out the poisonous thorns near its back. Only then would her purple lightning be able to hit its weak point. Yun Chujiu blinked her eyes. As she fought, she cursed, "Bah! To think that you are a 16th level sea beast. You can't even deal with me, a first-level spirit sect cultivator. You are too weak. Those poisonous thorns of yours can't hurt me at all unless the number of your poison thorns doubles. Unfortunately, you don't have any more stingers, you piece of trash. Watch me use my swords." Yun Chujiu suddenly summoned 5 immortal swords to attack the giant poison thorn dolphin. The giant poison thorn dolphin was shocked and quickly dodged. This wretched girl was really difficult to deal with. It seemed that it had to use all of its poisonous stingers in one strike. "Yes, let's do that." When the giant poison thorn dolphin thought of this, all of its poisonous stingers were shot at Yun Chujiu at once. Yun Chujiu dodged with great effort and was still hit by a poison stinger on her calf. Just as the giant poison thorn dolphin felt triumphant, it felt a sharp pain in its back. Several small purple lightning bolts had struck its back without anyone noticing. Chapter 996, still a little slow at that moment, in the courtyard where the staff in charge of the test waited, the instructors were leisurely drinking tea and chatting. Guess which group will be the first to come out in this round? Group number 18's strength isn't bad. Moreover, the scene that they chose in the valley has more commonly encountered demon beasts. They should be the first to come out. I think group number 32 will be the first. The forest that they chose is very similar to the demon beast forest. They should be able to quickly deal with anything they encounter. Why don't any of you think highly of group 250? They took first place in the previous round. A teacher asked with a smile. Forget it. Them placing first in the previous round was probably like a blind cat that met a dead rat. They just happened to find a large patch of violet brocade grass, which is why they took first place. The second round of the test depends on strength. They might give up halfway. I heard that they entered the forbidden area. Didn't they say that those who enter the forbidden area will never return? How did those four escape unscathed? It's probably because their spiritual power is too low, so they weren't discovered by the things inside. Right, what exactly is locked inside? I'm not sure either. Only the Academy's higher-ups know. In short, it's not something good. A teacher saw that they were getting more and more off topic, so he said, "You guys are getting off topic. Let's talk about this test. How long do you think it will take for the first place to come out?" There was a similar test before, and the fastest time was 8 to 10 hours. I think it will be dark by the time the first group comes out. This group of people's aptitude is average. I think it will be midnight by the time a group makes it out. Before the teacher could finish his sentence, the name of a group appeared on the screen. Group 250 has passed. The teachers looked at each other. The screen was most likely out of repair. Was it broken? How was that possible? It had only been less than 16 hours, how could they have passed? Moreover, Group 250 had chosen the ocean environment, which was the most difficult to pass. Not to mention 16 hours, even 36 hours might not be enough. Just as they were stared in disbelief, Yun Chujio and the other three had been teleported out. Although the four of them were in a sorry state, and there seemed to be bloodstains on Yun Chujio's calf, they had indeed passed the second round of the test. How? How did you pass so quickly? A teacher asked in disbelief. Naturally, we killed those sea beasts and then passed. Do you need me to bring out the corpses of those sea beasts for you to inspect? Yun Chujio said with a smile. Alright, bring one out, and let us take a look. Although the teacher felt that this was a bit too much, he was too curious and said shamelessly. Yun Chujio did not mind. She brought out the corpse of a sawtooth arowana and threw it onto the ground with a plop. The huge corpse immediately occupied half of the floor. Someone exclaimed, "This is a level 15 sawtooth arowana. In the sea, it is at least equivalent to a cultivator of the fourth layer of the spirit sect." Someone noticed that the sawtooth arawana's eyes had been charred black, and immediately understood how the sawtooth arawana died. Although these four people's spiritual power was weak, they had found the sawtooth arawana's weakness. No wonder they were able to kill it. Teachers, our spiritual power is insufficient to supplement our intelligence, but we were still a little slow. May I ask, which rank are we? We haven't been eliminated, right? Yun Chujio asked with a worried expression. Chapter 997, We actually came in first place. All the teachers' faces were stiff. Did you do this on purpose? What do you mean by being a little slow? What do you mean by not being eliminated? All of you have broken the record. Still you were slow. Are you going to give others a chance or not? One of the teachers pointed at the screen angrily. Look at it yourself. Yun Chujio glanced at the screen and saw that only the name of her group was on it. She asked in puzzlement, could it be that the other groups have all escaped? Only our group is left. It's over, we've been eliminated. I've already tried my best, but I didn't expect to still be eliminated. 3 senior brothers, I've let you all down. I didn't expect that the people of the Tianyuan continent would be so ridiculously strong. Yuhua. It's over, we can't enter the Tianyuan Academy anymore. My heart is about to break. Yun Chujio said with a sad face. Feng Ming and the other 2 did not understand. They had always listened to Yun Chujio. When they heard Yun Chujio say this, they thought that they had been eliminated. Their faces also revealed a disappointed expression. Junior sister Little Jiu, your skills are not inferior to others. If you are eliminated, so be it. We will try again next year. Feng Ming was afraid that Yun Chujio would be too sad, so he comforted her. That's right, junior sister Little Jiu. At most, we can start all over again. Only when we know our weaknesses can we improve. Shi Xian also comforted her. Gung Yi gritted his teeth. Junior sister Little Jiu, we are the ones who dragged you down. Next year, we will definitely not drag you down. Those teachers had an expression that said, fuck. You guys are not deliberately making fun of us, right? The people of the Tianyuan continent are ridiculously strong. Are you sure you're not mocking them? If they are so freakishly strong that they haven't come out yet. You guys are weak. If you guys are weak, would you guys get first place twice in a row? However, seeing that the little girl had cried so pitifully, it could not have been intentional. Perhaps she really thought that she had been eliminated. Thus, the teachers coughed dryly a few times. Cough cough, don't cry. You guys haven't been eliminated. You guys are the first to come out. Wait at the side. Feng Ming and the other 2 were initially stunned before they cheered. Junior sister Little Jiu, we're in first place. We haven't been eliminated. That's great. Junior sister Little Jiu, we've entered the 3rd round. Don't be sad. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes in her heart. Of course, I know that we're in first place. We're the only ones on that list. Moreover, those teachers had an expression of arrogance. Only the 3 of you are stupid enough to think that you've been eliminated. She definitely did it on purpose. She just liked to look at those teachers who looked down on them with a dumbfounded expression. Humph. Look down on me more. I'll blind your snobbish eyes with my radiance. She took out a handkerchief and wiped her tears. We're not eliminated after all. That's great. So the cultivators of the Tianyuan continent aren't that strong after all. The faces of the teachers stiffened. The feeling of being slapped in the face was terrible. Those other trash had not come out yet. They were even worse than this team 250 who only had members at the first level of the spirit sect. Trash. Idiots. After a few more hours, the name of Team 18 lit up. Then, Yin Sulian and the other 3 were teleported out. Because Yun Chujio and the other 3 were waiting in the corner, Yin Sulian and the other 3 did not see them when they came out, therefore, Yin Sulian and the others naturally thought that they were the first out. Their faces were full of pride. Teachers, we took less than 10 hours. We should be the first, right? We could have been faster, but we were delayed for the sake of training. Otherwise, we would have come out in 10 hours. Yin Sulian could not help but say happily. Chapter 998, A resounding slap to the face. None of the teachers said a word. All of them were as silent as a mouse. Yin Sulian could not help but feel a little smug. It seemed that they were too fast. These teachers were all shocked. Actually, we have encountered demonic beasts we were familiar with, so we were a little faster. If it were demonic beasts that we haven't seen before, we wouldn't be able to come out so quickly. Yin Sulian pretended to be modest and said a few words. Another disciple surnamed Zhang, who had his head raised, said, "The four of us already have higher spiritual power than the others. It's normal for us to get first place, but it wouldn't be normal if we didn't." Another hawk-nosed person also echoed, "Junior Ian, we can't be arrogant and complacent, but we also can't belittle ourselves. We still need to have confidence. If we don't have confidence in the first place, won't the examinees that come out later be considered trash?" "That's right. If we don't have confidence, won't those four trash from the Azure Mystic continent have to bang their heads against the wall? Ha ha ha, I bet that they won't be able to get out even if it's dark tomorrow unless they voluntarily give up and get teleported out," a fatty said with a pout. Those teachers were all angered to the point of laughter. If Yun Chujia's group originally did not exist, their words could be explained as just youthful and frivolous banter. However, with Yun Chujia's outstanding results, this sort of behavior reeked of shamelessness. Yin Sulian and the other three were boasting like four clowns until one of them, the hawk-nosed person, turned around and saw the screen. "What? That's impossible. How can number 250 be on top of us?" Following the hawk-nosed person's words, Yin Sulian and the other two quickly turned to look at the screen. When they saw that group number 250 was placed above number 18, as if a loud slap had landed on their faces, especially that fatty who said that Yun Chujio and the others would not be able to complete the test even if it was dark tomorrow. Impossible. There must be something wrong with the screen. How could they be faster than us? Where are they? If they haven't come out yet, there must be something wrong with the screen. The fatty shouted. That's right, there must be something wrong with the screen. Where are they? Yin Sulian's face turned red. If Yun Chujio and the others really won first place, did that mean we have lost our dignity just now? Aya, are you guys looking for us? I'm really sorry. I was a little tired from waiting, so I took a nap. Did you guys just get out? Yun Chujio hopped over and said with a smile. You, when did you get out? Yin Sulian's head buzzed with confusion. This Yun Chujio finished earlier than us. How was this possible? It must be because the ocean environment was easier. They had taken advantage of it. Us? We weren't too early. We were only 5 or 6 hours earlier than you guys, Yun Chujio said indifferently. 5 or 6 hours earlier? Impossible. Did you guys come out in 6 hours? Who are you trying to fool? Yin Sulian shouted angrily as if this could cover up the embarrassment and panic in her heart. If you don't believe me, you can ask the teachers. Yun Chujio curled her lips and said indifferently. Yin Sulian looked at the teachers, and asked in a slightly trembling voice, Is what she said true? Did they really come out in just 6 hours? One of the teachers coughed dryly. Yes, group 250 got out in 6 hours. Chapter 999, You Are Nothing. Yin Sulian heard what the teacher said and her head buzzed. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. She thought of what she had said before and felt like she was the subject of a joke. Just now, someone said that we, the trash, have to run into a wall. Sigh. We got first place by accident. I wonder if the rest of us will jump off the cliff or hang ourselves, or buy a piece of tofu to kill ourselves. Yun Chujio said faintly. Yin Sulian gritted her teeth. Yun Chujio, don't be so smug. You just got lucky. There aren't many people that chose the ocean environment. Maybe the demonic beasts inside are all low level, so you took advantage of it. Yun Chujio looked at her. Low level? Open your eyes and see if this is a low-level demonic beast. With a bang, a sawtooth arowana was thrown to the ground. The sound it made when it hit the ground was like an earthquake. Yin Sulian and the others were shocked. Excuse me, second Miss Yin, is this sawtooth arowana considered low-level? Yun Chujio asked coldly. Yin Sulian braced herself and said, "Humph. It's just a level 15 demonic beast. What's so great about it? We've encountered a level 17 demonic beast. Secondly, Miss Yin, don't you know that a sea beast's power in the sea rises by at least 3 levels? A level 15 demonic beast is equivalent to a level 18 demonic beast on land. Humph. What's there to boast about killing a level 18 demon beast in 6 hours? Even though Yin Sulian felt a little weak in her heart, her mouth did not give in. 1 is too little. Then what about 2? Clang. Another sawtooth arowana was thrown to the ground. Those instructors had been very shocked and they saw 1 sawtooth arowana. Now that they saw 2, they were even more shocked. How did these 4 examinees do it? How could they kill 2 sawtooth arowanas at their level? Yin Sulian stammered, "Humph. Maybe the sawtooth arowana was already injured. You guys just took advantage of it." Yun Chujio looked at her. "Yin Sulian, I think you will never be successful in your life. You will never be able to acknowledge other people's successes. You always think that you are superior and rely on your family background. The truth is, you are nothing. Yun Chujio. What right do you have to lecture me? Shut up." Yin Sulian was so angry that her face was red and her neck was thick with veins. She wanted to strangle Yun Chujio to death. "Your mouth is on me. What right do you have to tell me to shut up? Yin Sulian, you are much worse than your sister. Your sister is the heaven and you are the mud. You will never be better than her. Shut up. You are talking nonsense. Yun Chujio, I will kill you." Yin Sulian had lost her mind from Yun Chujio's provocation. She threw several wind blades at Yun Chujio. "Stop. Yin Sulian, how can you be so impudent here?" A teacher shouted angrily. Yin Sulian was shocked. She had acted rashly earlier. Now that she had calmed down, she knew that she had caused trouble. She had actually attacked someone while in the Tianyuan Academy in public, and in front of so many teachers. That was equivalent to looking down on the teachers. Yin Sulian was anxious. She rolled her eyes and pretended to faint. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. How could she use such an old trick? She was too lazy to expose her, so she returned to Feng Ming and the other 2 to continue her meditation. After a while, more and more examinees passed the test. Yin Sulian hid in an inconspicuous place with her tail between her legs. The teachers also turned a blind eye. The Yin family was powerful, so they had to occasionally look the other way. Chapter 1000. The third round of the test. After the other examinees also got out of their chosen environs, they saw that the number 1 was group 250. They also raised their doubts. Yun Chujio was too lazy to explain herself. After all, the truth was already shown on the display board. It was not until the evening of the next day that all the examinees came out. They thought that they would rest for 3 days before the third round of the test. They did not expect to be informed that the groups ranked in the top 500 would immediately participate in the third round of the test. "I am Teacher Ouyang. I'll be in charge of the third round. All of you will follow me and board the Flying Spirit Tool. We will head to the test site," said an old man. Everyone boarded the Flying Spirit Tool in order. Yun Chujio and the other 3 found a corner and sat down on the spot to meditate. The examinees discussed among themselves. "I have never heard of anyone who has to leave the Tianyuan Academy to take the test. Where are they taking us? Who knows? It's probably a secret realm or something like that. It should still be used to calculate the scores. No matter where we go, those with high spiritual power will have the advantage. Some people manage to get lucky twice. It's time for them to show their true colors this time. The one who spoke was the man surnamed Zhang, who was in the same group as Yin Sulian. That's right. I was wondering why they chose the ocean scene. It turns out that they were there to pick up the scraps. The ocean scene hasn't been picked up for thousands of years. The sea beasts inside don't know how to fight anymore, so they picked up the scraps. The fatty who was in the same group as him echoed the sentiment. Other people also chimed in. They were saying that Yun Chujio and the others had gotten first place twice due to sheer luck, and not because of their strength. A few people did not agree. The entry tests at Tianyuan Academy were not just for show. It was a coincidence that they got first place once, and to achieve it a second time was definitely due to their own strength. It seemed that the 4 people who ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent were not ordinary people. It made sense. To be able to ascend at such a young age, they must have extraordinary abilities. It was better for them not to join in the fun so as not to offend the wrong people. 3 days passed in a flash. The flying spirit tool had yet to arrive at the destination. Some of the disciples could not hold themselves back and used their courage to ask Teacher Ouyang, "Teacher Ouyang, how much longer do we have before we reach the location of the trial? Don't be impatient. We still need at least another half-month to arrive." Teacher Ouyang did not put on airs and said very casually. "Half a month?" Yun Chujio felt that something was not right. It was not like the people of Tianyuan Academy had their brains kicked by a donkey. Was there a need to go to such a faraway place for an entrance test? Half a month passed by in the blink of an eye, but the flying spirit tool still had not been prepared for landing. Another examinee went to ask Teacher Ouyang, "Teacher Ouyang, it's been half a month. Why haven't we arrived at our destination yet?" "Half a month? I said a month. Did you hear wrongly?" Teacher Ouyang had a puzzled expression. The examinees immediately exploded. This Teacher Ouyang clearly said half a month before. Why did he say a month now? Teacher Ouyang changed his amiable expression from before and sternly shouted, "Quiet. If there are any more disagreements, he'll directly revoke the test qualification. If I say a month, then it means a month. We will be able to reach the test location in a month." Everyone was frightened by these words and did not dare to make a sound, for fear of being disqualified. Another half a month passed, and everyone realized that the flying spirit tool still had no intention of landing. No matter how stupid they were, they knew that something was wrong. Chapter 1001, You are all too naive, Teacher Ouyang, you must give us a clear explanation today. What are you trying to do by changing the date so casually? That's right. We are not 3-year-old children. There's no need for those lame reasons. Where exactly are you taking us? That's right. You must give us an explanation today. Otherwise, we might do something drastic. Teacher Ouyang's face sank. What do you mean? Our Tianyuan Academy has never lacked students. If you want to give up, then go ahead. Now, I can let the flying spirit tool land. You can leave. Who wants to leave now? When Teacher Ouyang said this, those examinees who were previously filled with righteous indignation immediately became terrified. That's right, Tianyuan Academy was the place that they had always dreamed of. They had passed the first 2 rounds of tests with great difficulty. Could it be that they were going to give up after coming this far? Thus, everyone pulled back their words. Teacher Ouyang, what we said earlier was a little overboard. However, you should at least give us a clearer deadline, right? We can't possibly stay flying forever, right? Teacher Ouyang sneered. Deadline? Since you are here to participate in the test, you must abide by the rules. There is no specific deadline. Just wait until we land. After Teacher Ouyang finished speaking, he left, and the cabin door closed with a bang. The crowd immediately exploded. Fuck. What is going on? The dry rations I brought along have almost finished. If we don't land, I starve to death. Are we going to wait indefinitely? That teacher Ouyang is too unreliable. How can there be such a test? Maybe the third round of the test is to test our patience. What you said makes sense. Then, shall we continue to wait? A sneer came from the corner, sigh. I didn't want to do it at first. After all, a tall tree attracts the wind. But you guys are too naive. I can't stand it anymore. Everyone followed the voice and looked over. The one who spoke was a beautiful girl with a roasted chicken leg in her hand. She said with a sneer as she chewed on it. Yun Chujio, what makes you think you can speak here? You are a piece of trash. Just to be honest with you. You are a disgrace, Yin Sulyen said disdainfully. The hawk-nose who was with Yin Sulyen echoed, that's right. What do the four of you old country bumpkins of Azure Mystic Continent know? How can a tree attract the wind? At most, you are four go-wei butsao. Ha ha ha. Yun Chujio sighed, alright, since you think that I'm talking nonsense, then just pretend that you didn't hear anything. Anyway, I have food and drink, and I can still play cards here. It's extremely comfortable. After saying that, Yun Chujio resumed her card game with Feng Ming and the other two. They were having a great time as if nothing had happened just now. Some people were a little tempted to listen to her. Group 250, especially that little girl, seemed to be very smart. Could she have a good idea of what was happening? However, only a few dozen people had such thoughts. Most still felt that Yun Chujio was just bluffing. If they, the people of the Tianyuan continent, had no idea what to do, what could she possibly do? She was just deliberately trying to attract people's attention. Another half a month passed, and everyone started to get restless. They went to look for Teacher Ouyang again. Teacher Ouyang's attitude got even worse. He still said that those who wanted to leave could immediately leave the flying spirit tool, or else they would have to listen to the arrangements. Some people did not have much food left in their storage rings, so they became anxious. If things went on like that, they would starve to death, so they had to think of something. Chapter 1002, A Great Panic. Some people also had doubts about this test. There had never been such a situation in all the tests over the years. Could there really be something fishy going on here? They remembered what Yun Chujio had said before. When they saw the four of them happily eating and drinking, cultivating, or playing cards like it was just a normal day. It was extremely baffling. Could it be that this little girl had a solution to their predicament in mind? Yun Chujio, you didn't finish your words that day. What did you see? A few people approached Yun Chujio and asked shamelessly. Yun Chujio glanced at them. Some people said that I'm a waste, that I'm a country bumpkin or a go-wei batsao. Since I'm such a waste, I'd better not embarrass myself. You'd better ask them since they're the smart ones. The few of them laughed dryly. We didn't say that. We believe what you said. Tell us what you think. Yun Chujio saw that the few of them were quite sincere, so she no longer took offense. Let me ask you, when will the Tianyuan Academy lessons start? April 5th. When will we participate in the third round of the test? March 25th. Yun Chujio stopped talking after asking these two questions. The few of them stared at each other for quite a while, then, she slapped her thigh. Fuck. We've already spent nearly 2 months on the flying spirit tool. Isn't it already almost 2 months since school started? Why are we still participating in the bullshit test? That's right. We're still trying our best to pass the test. We've all been fooled. Even if we can pass the test, it's already too late. But, why is Tianyuan Academy doing this? All of us are on this flying spirit tool. Could it be that they are not going to recruit students this year? Or could it be that they are going to reselect those who have been eliminated? Their conversation immediately spread to the entire hall, and all the examinees were furious. They had been fooled by that teacher Ouyang. Could it be that teacher Ouyang was not from Tianyuan Academy at all? Where did he want to take them? Some people imagined many terrifying things, such as possession, or going to the mines to work as coolies. Some women were so scared that they started crying. If things went wrong, they might be sold to other people as concubines. What should they do? Yin Sulian shouted, "It's very easy to solve this problem. Well, capture that old man Ouyang and force him to tell the truth. Is there anyone who dares to go with me?" Everyone's eyes were red with anger. When they heard Yin Sulian's words, they immediately responded and rushed toward the cabin door. However, when they rushed to the cockpit, they found that there was no one in there. Teacher Ouyang's whereabouts were unknown. Even the teacher who had been piloting the flying spirit tool was nowhere to be seen. Everyone wanted to stop the flying spirit tool, but they found that they could not operate the flying spirit tool at all. What made them even more terrified was that they could not see anything in front of them or in all directions. "It's over, we must have been lured into a trap. We're dead meat. The flying spirit tool has already lost its navigation. If there's a volcano or a cliff in front of us, we'll be done for. Let's quickly ride our swords and leave this flying spirit tool. We might still survive if we try, but if we stay here, we're just waiting to die." Someone immediately went to push the cabin door, but to their despair, the cabin door was sealed shut. Everyone fell into a great panic. Chapter 1003, Apologize Immediately. Some people began to attack the cabin door like berserkers, trying to break it down. However, despite hundreds of people attacking the cabin door with their spiritual powers, the cabin door was not damaged at all. Everyone tragically discovered that, at this time, they were already trapped in this flying spirit tool, and could only await their deaths. Everyone was unwilling to give up and hurled attacks in every direction. Some people even began to attack the cockpit, but there was no effect. This flying spirit tool seemed to be made of 10,000-year-old dark steel. No spiritual attack could damage it at all. Everyone collapsed and sat on the ground. Only Yun Chujio and the other three were still playing cards leisurely. Occasionally, they could hear Yun Chujio's bell-like laughter. "Yun Chujio. Do you have a heart? We are all worried to death, and you still have the mood to talk and laugh. You are shameless." Yin Sulian's eyes were red as she said fiercely. Yun Chujio looked at her. "Yin Sulian, did you get dementia earlier? I wanted to say my piece back then, yet you and your lackeys said that I was overestimating myself, that I was a country bumpkin, and that I was a Go-Wei Batsao. Now you remember me? I'm sorry, we are Go-Wei Batsao. We only know how to eat, drink, and have fun. We don't know how to do anything else." Yin Sulian was so angry that her entire face turned red. "Yun Chujio, do you think that you're that amazing? If we can't do anything about it, what can you possibly do? I just don't like your attitude. You act like it's none of your business. If we die, you won't be able to escape either." Yun Chujio shrugged. I do have an idea. However, I don't like you, your lackeys, and Yin Shuecheng. You and your bastard group. So, even if I had to, I wouldn't share it with you." Everyone felt like they were drowning, yet suddenly found hope of survival. Even if it was just a piece of straw, they would grasp at it. Immediately, someone shouted, "Yin Sulian. Yin Shuecheng. Quickly apologize to Yun Chujio. Once you apologize, perhaps Yun Chujio will share with us their solution." Yes. It was Yun Chujio who reminded us just now that we were trapped. Otherwise, we would still be kept in the dark. Therefore, Yun Chujio must have a way out. Yin Sulian, Yin Shuecheng, quickly apologize. Yes. Apologize. Apologize immediately. Otherwise, we will force you to apologize. Yun Chujio sighed in her heart. Humans were indeed the most animalistic. Previously, they were all trying to curry favor with others. Now that it might affect their own well-being, they immediately turned hostile and refused to acknowledge them. Yin Sulien could not believe the scene in front of her. Usually, these people would either flatter her or be subservient to her. She did not expect that they had completely changed their allegiance. Yin Zucheng's face was red as he shouted, "Are you crazy? If you dare to do anything to us, the Yin family will not forgive you. We will kill all of you." Humph. Although the Yin family is powerful, it is a life-and-death situation now. You must apologize to Yun Chujio quickly. Your family background won't matter when we're all dead. Otherwise, we will force you to apologize with our knives. Yes. Apologize quickly, or else I will cut your faces and cripple your limbs. You still dare call Yun Chujio trash? I think you are even worse. You always rank behind number 250, and you still have the face to call her trash. You are just jealous of her ability. You are suffering from extreme jealousy. Chapter 1004, Opened the door to a new world. Yun Chujio almost applauded these people. No wonder these people could pass 2 rounds of tests. Their eloquence was amazing. It was even better than what she said herself. The scolding was satisfying. Yin Sulien and Yin Zucheng's faces were as red as a pig's liver. When they saw that some people took out their spiritual weapons, they knew that they could not behave as they usually did. They gritted their teeth and decided that it was wiser to just go along for now. They would find another opportunity to kill Yun Chujio and these people in the future. Yun Chujio, we were wrong before. We apologize to you. Yin Xuecheng said 2 sentences through the gaps in his teeth. Yun Chujio looked at Yin Sulien again. Yin Sulien gritted her teeth and said, "I'm sorry." Yun Chujio scratched her ears. Your sincerity is not enough. If it's a perfunctory apology, I'm not satisfied. Yin Sulien and Yin Xuecheng were about to refute when one of the examinees kicked Yin Xuecheng in the crook of their legs. The 2 of them immediately kneeled and were about to get up, however, someone held a knife to their neck. Apologize. Apologize right now, or I'll kill you. Yun Chujio looked at everything in front of her and felt that she had opened the door to a new world. It turned out that she did not have to teach others a lesson by herself. It felt so good to watch others do it for her. It seemed that I had to make good use of public opinion and the bystanders in the future. This way, not only did I save energy, but I also stood at the peak of public opinion. Wasn't this great? Yin Sulien and Yin Zucheng's eyes were filled with anger. They wished that they could tear Yun Chujio into pieces. However, to save their lives, they could only grit their teeth and say, "We were wrong. We were jealous of your abilities. We apologize." Yun Chujio curled her lips. Are you guys just going to use your mouths to apologize? Shouldn't there be some compensation for your apology? The onlookers suddenly felt that their worldview had been refreshed. Shameless. She is too shameless. There was still such a brazen person who wanted more after others apologized. Wasn't her skin too thick? Yin Sulien gritted her teeth. What kind of compensation do you want? Spirit tools, spirit herbs, or spirit stones are fine. I'm not picky. I'm very easy to talk to. Yun Chujio said with a smile. The onlookers felt that Yun Chujio's narcissism had reached a new height. How could she be easy to talk to like this? How could you say that without feeling guilty? Yin Sulien and Yin Xuecheng were almost tortured to death by you. Yin Sulien gritted her teeth. 100 high-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Do I look like a beggar? 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. If you don't agree, then it'll become 50,000. If you still don't agree, then 100,000 should suffice. Yin Xueqing cursed angrily. Yun Chujio, don't be so shameless. Everyone. Don't be fooled by her, what can she do? She's lying to you, she doesn't have any good ideas. 50,000. Yun Chujio said faintly. Yin Xueqing cursed angrily. Yun Chujio. Are you out of your mind? I won't give you a single spirit stone. 100,000. You forced the two of them to swear in their hearts that they owe me 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. If I don't pay them back within 3 months, they will be struck by lightning and will die horrible deaths. Yun Chujio very naturally instructed the examinees beside her. Those examinees usually could not stand Yin Zucheng's pig-headed manner of shouting. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, they immediately began to beat and kick him. They used their knives to force Yin Sulian and Yin Xueqing to write an IOU for 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Yin Sulian's eyes were filled with venom. Yun Chujio, keep showing off. If you can't come up with a solution later, these people will tear you apart alive. Even if you find one, I won't ever forgive you. Chapter 1005, Flowers Bloom with a single thought. Yun Chujio had made a small fortune. When she saw that Yin Xueqing and Yin Xueqing had kneeled, her mood improved. Yun Chujio, we have already forced them to apologize according to what you said. Quickly tell us, what is the situation now? Everyone's gaze was fixed on Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio smiled slightly. Actually, we haven't left the Tianyuan Academy at all. We haven't spent 2 months out there either. All of this is just an illusion. We have been tricked. Before the crowd could speak, Yin Sulian sneered. Yun Chujio, you were a fraud in the Azure Mystic Continent, right? An illusion? That's hilarious. We're not idiots. You think we can't tell the difference between reality and illusion? That's right. I just said that she was lying to you. You didn't believe me, but now you believe me, right? She's simply spouting nonsense. Everything felt so real, how could it be an illusion, added Yin Xueqing. You stupid girl, how dare you threaten me? I will not forgive you. Some people heard the Yin siblings' words and felt a little suspicious. Yun Chujio's words were too unbelievable. An illusion? How could this be an illusion? Everything that happened here felt extremely real. Moreover, how could it be that so many people had fallen into the same illusion? Some people looked at Yun Chujio with unkind eyes. Could it be that they had been played by Yun Chujio? Not only did they not find a way out, but they also offended the Yin siblings. It was detestable. Yun Chujio glanced at those people. They were the fence-sitters. Although the onlookers were easy to fool, they changed their stances too easily. These sort of people who were only told what to think were unreliable. Haven't you heard of a flower blooming with one thought and a flower falling with one thought? Everything in the world is like a flower blooming and falling. From the beginning to the end, the process is different, but the result is the same. If you nurture it, it will bloom and bear fruit. If you don't, it will wither and wither. Alright, what I said is too profound. You might not understand. In short, you have all fallen into an illusion. If you want to leave this place, there is only one way. That is to calm down and meditate. Follow the tranquility in your heart, and you will see what is really in front of you. Yun Chujio said mysteriously. Everyone was stunned by her words. It seemed to make sense, but was it effective? Fuck. Anyway, there's no other way now. This is our last resort. Someone said and began to meditate. When someone took the lead, more and more followed. No one wanted to be trapped here forever, so they began to meditate. Even Yin Sulian and Yin Shuechen gritted their teeth and followed the crowd. Feng Ming and the other two looked at Yun Chuzhou. From their experience, junior sister Little Jiu was possibly just bluffing. What bullshit was that, a flower blooming with one thought? Junior sister Little Jiu must have discovered something. Yun Chuzhou winked at the three of them, and they sat down to meditate. Yun Chuzhou stood up and her voice became ethereal. Color is emptiness, emptiness is color, no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, body, desires, color, sounds, fragrance, touch. Everyone who was meditating calmed down as well. Yun Chuzhou pursed her lips. Illusion formation. TSK, she was afraid of all kinds of formations, but she was not afraid of an illusion formation. In her previous life, she had often been trained to resist hypnotism, and her spiritual sense was extremely strong. Illusion formations could not trap her at all. However, to not be too conspicuous, she pretended to accompany these people for a long time. Although she was bored, it was still not too bad since she was to be able to obtain 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Chapter 1006, Illusion Break. Yun Chuzhou walked to the array board and removed the spirit stones from the array board. Then, she put them into her storage ring. As soon as the spirit stones were taken away, the entire illusion broke. The scene in front of them changed. Sure enough, everyone was sitting in the small square. There were a group of teachers surrounding them with frozen smiles on their faces. They were all dumbfounded. Originally, when they saw these rookies struggling, they were just mocking them as a topic of discussion. Who would have thought that their expressions would suddenly become calm and peaceful? It was really strange. What made them the strangest was that Yun Chuzhou actually stood up. How was this possible? Was she not already affected by the illusion? How could she stand up? What made them the most confused was that the little girl actually walked straight to the array core and shamelessly took out the top-grade spirit stones from the array disc and put them into her pocket. Those were top-grade spirit stones. You fucking greedy demon. Yun Chuzhou smiled at them and then shouted at the examinees, flowers bloom with one thought, flowers fall with one thought. Wake up, young people. The crowd was looking for the calm and peaceful state that Yun Chuzhou had described. When they suddenly heard a shout, they were startled awake. Then, they were pleasantly surprised to find that the scene in their eyes had changed. They were in the small square where they exited the second round of the test. This meant that they had not used any flying spirit tools at all, nor did the so-called teacher Ouyang waste their time flying blindly. All of it was an illusion. Everyone immediately cheered, "We're out. We've broken the illusion. We've passed the test. Ha ha ha, I thought I was dead for sure. I didn't expect that I would pass the test. Yun Chuzhou, this is all thanks to Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou, you're amazing. We originally thought that you were spouting nonsense, but we didn't expect that the method you said would actually work. A flower blooms with a single thought, and a flower falls with a single thought. How philosophical. Yun Chuzhou, you're too talented." Feng Ming and the other two listened to everyone's praise for Yun Chuzhou, and their hearts were filled with different emotions. Junior sister Little Jiu was a monster. She changed everyone's impression of her within a short time. So what if she was at the first level of the spirit sect? Junior sister Little Jiu knew the trick to getting first place in the test, and could still receive everyone's praise at the same time. Yun Chuzhia's heart was filled with joy, but she was used to putting on airs. She smiled faintly and said, "Fellow students, you are overpraising us. The reason why we succeeded was because we worked together. If it wasn't for your trust in me, how could we have succeeded?" When everyone heard Yun Chujia's words, they felt a strange warmth in their hearts. This Yun Chujio was not proud of her achievements, and she even shared the credit equally with everyone. She was not so bad after all. The surrounding teachers could only stare in bewilderment. Then, one of the older teachers coughed dryly, cough cough. Silence. Silence. When everyone saw the speaker's face clearly, they were instantly enraged. Fuck, wasn't that teacher Ouyang? Although they knew that it was an illusion, they still felt very annoyed with teacher Ouyang. They always felt that there was nothing good about his appearance. The third round of the test was supposed to filter out the first 1,000 examinees who escaped the illusion and obtained the qualification to enter the school. However, I didn't expect that all 2,000 of you would actually pass. Therefore, we have to add an additional round to the entrance test. The fourth round of the test will be held in 3 days. Chapter 1007, added to the Huang class. Everyone looked at the teacher fiercely. As expected, he was up to no good ever since he appeared. However, no one had any objections. There had been such a precedent in the past. If the examinees who passed the first 3 rounds could not be selected, there would be an additional round. Everyone left the square one after another. When Yun Chujio was about to leave, she was stopped by the elderly teacher. Little girl, how did you find the core of the formation? Yun Chujio originally thought that he wanted the top-grade spirit stones back, but when she heard him ask about something else, she felt relieved. She blinked her eyes. I just felt that there was something strange there. I used my hand to randomly pull a few times, and then I touched the spirit stone. I am the most greedy person. When I saw the spirit stone, I thought that there was no reason for me not to take it, so I took it. The teacher never dreamed that it would be for that reason, but he was still a little skeptical. He sized up Yun Chujio and saw that the little girl in front of him was calm and had no expressions of guilt. The teacher could only wave his hand at Yun Chujio, indicating that she could leave. The teacher looked at Yun Chujio skipping away and said, "Why do I always feel that this little girl is not as she seems? Old Xiao, aren't you talking nonsense? If she was just a simple girl, could she have gotten first place in both tests? Moreover, we were slapped in the face by this little girl in the third round of the test. I heard that this Yun Chujio ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent. She is not even 18 years old yet, but she cultivated her spiritual power to ascend in the Azure Mystic Continent, where the spiritual energy is poor. She is definitely not just a simple girl. You guys still don't know, right? She has the Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit. The Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit is not tolerated by Tian Dao, but she is still alive and kicking. There must be something unusual about this little girl. It is also possible that because it was the Azure Mystic Continents, the Tian Dao did not delve too deeply into it. Now that she has arrived at the Tianyuan continent, it might not be a good thing. Maybe when she breaks through, she will be killed by the Tian Dao. The teachers animatedly discussed among each other. The elderly teacher finally said, "This little girl is too sharp. If she can pass the fourth round of the test, I think it's more appropriate to assign her to the Huang class. It's just the right move to sharpen her spirit. This will help her resist Tian Dao's wrath in the future." Old Xiao, what you said makes sense, but why do I feel that you are using others to seek personal revenge? It can't be that because she broke your illusion array, that's why you suggested it. A fat old man said with a smile. Old man Jiang, do you think I'm a petty person like you? I'm cherishing talent. For a little girl at the first layer of the spirit sect to obtain such results, either her luck was heaven-defying, or her wit was extraordinary. No matter which one it was, this little girl's future is limitless. How could I take revenge on her? Moreover, this year's examinee's aptitude is indeed not as good as the previous years. Dean Huangfu decided to add a Huang class this year, the old man surnamed Xiao said unhappily. You old thing, I was just joking. Did you take it seriously? However, if that little girl was assigned to Huang class, she wouldn't give up herself, right? After all, she obtained first place in 2 tests, and she might feel complacent. If she can't even accept this little ordeal, then it would be hard for her to become a great person. The old man surnamed Xiao said in a deep voice. Yun Chuzhou did not even know that she had been dragged to the worst class before she had even entered the school. At that moment, she basked in the praise and gratitude of those she had helped escape. Yun Chuzhou was surrounded by those examinees who thanked her. She had walked towards the Long Wind Inn when she was blocked by someone. Chapter 1008, Senior Sister will protect you. A good dog doesn't know how to behave. Get lost. However, if you are here to return the money, I don't mind being delayed for a while. Yun Chuzhou looked at the Yin siblings in front of her and curled her lips. Yun Chuzhou. You. Just you wait, our Yin family will not forgive you. Yin Sulian said fiercely. She had already sent a letter to the head of the Yin family, asking her father to think of a way to kill Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou smiled faintly. Whether you forgive me or not, we will discuss that another time. Quickly give me the 200,000 high-grade spirit stones that you owe me, or else you will be struck by lightning. Or is it that your Yin family is just putting up a false front and you can't even afford 200,000 high-grade spirit stones? You are extorting us. Yin Sulian said with bloodshot eyes. Blackmail? Cut the crap. Who asked you to be unable to control your own mouth? Did I ask you to find fault with me? Did I ask you to call me a country bumpkin? Did I ask you to call me a go-wei batsao? Are you blaming me for your own bad mouth? Yun Chuzhou shrugged her shoulders and said helplessly. When Yin Sulian wanted to say more, a cold voice came from the side. Yun Chuzhou, here are 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Keep it well. My sister and my cousin are just fooling around. Now that we're even, I hope you can let them off in the future. Yun Chuzhou turned her head and saw that the person who spoke was Yin Xinlian. Her small mouth made her look like she was extremely evil. It was confusing. No wonder she was considered one of the so-called 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Miss Yin, you seem to have misunderstood. If you don't know what happened, there are a lot of people here. You can ask around before you accuse me of anything. This doesn't seem to be in line with your usual sensible style. Yun Chuzhou said coldly. Yin Xinlian had always been popular since she was young. Even though Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan had stolen the limelight in Tianyuan Academy, the 3 of them had not fallen out with each other on the surface. It was the first time that she had been ridiculed in public. What about me? Don't you feel embarrassed when you bully your juniors and the weak like this? You are one of the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. How can you be an example to us? You've allowed your family to bully others and then slander the victim. You've disappointed me. Originally, I wanted to look up to you as an example. Now, it seems that I better choose Senior Sister Qin and Senior Sister Bai Li as role models. Clap. 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 Clapping sounds were heard from the side. Qin Mingzhu and Bai Li Shuang walked over. Bai Li Shuang clapped as she said, "You, little girl, have good taste. If you manage to enter Tianyuan Academy, Senior Sister will take care of you." Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "Then thank you, Senior Sister Bai Li. I have offended Senior Sister Yin and her family before I entered the academy. I am very scared." The corners of Feng Ming and the other 2's eyes twitched violently. Scared? Junior Sister Little Jiu, you are the one who is lying through your teeth. You are scared. I think you only want to plunge the world into chaos. Yun Chujio had never been a person who would submit to whatever was coming her way. She thought that since she had already offended Yin Sulian and Yin Xuechen, she might as well just break all ties with them. After all, they did not openly dare to do anything to her in the Tian Yuan Academy. Moreover, she had even offended the biggest power in the sky, Tian Dao, so why would she be afraid of a little Yin family? When Yin Xinlian saw Yun Chujio and Bei Li Yen chime in, her face turned red with anger. Then, she saw Qin Ming's mocking expression, she gritted her teeth and said, Bei Li Yen, do you think this Yun Chujio is a good person? Let me tell you, the relationship between her and His Excellency is not as simple as it seems. You better be wary you don't invite a wolf into your house. Chapter 1009, The fourth round of the test. Beiming was both Bei Li Yen and Qin Ming's weakness. When the two of them heard Yin Xinlian's words, they immediately looked at Yun Chujio with unkind eyes. Yun Chujio, what is your relationship with His Excellency? Bei Li Yen stared at Yun Chujio. Me and His Excellency? Isn't he the palace mistress' son? What kind of relationship could we possibly have? Yun Chujio looked at Bei Li Yen with a confused expression. Junior Yun, I'm just asking casually. Don't worry, Senior will take care of you from now on. You just have to take part in the fourth round of the test properly. Bei Li Yen saw that Yun Chujio's expression did not seem to be fake, and she thought to herself, could it be that this little girl still does not understand love? Since she has yet to be enlightened, I won't tease her anymore. If she pesters His Excellency, it would not be pretty. Yun Chujio nodded, and then asked curiously, Senior Bei Li, what did Senior Yin mean when she said something about leading a wolf into the house and that I wasn't as I seemed? Bei Li Yen sneered, some people have their own ulterior motives, so they think that others are like her. Don't take it to heart. As long as you enter Tianyuan Academy, they won't dare to do anything to you. Yes, I'll listen to Senior Bei Li. Then, I'll leave first. See you later. Yun Chujio said obediently. Yin Xinlian looked at Yun Chujio's back and said coldly, Bei Li Yen, you'll regret it. This little girl is not as simple as she looks. Not simple. She's a little girl from the Azure Mystic Continent, what could be not simple? Yin Xinlian, you'd reign in your Yin family. Each one of them is so stupid, it's embarrassing. Bei Li Yen said mockingly. You don't have to worry about the Yin family's matters. Let's go. Yin Xinlian glared at Yin Sulian and Yin Xuechen, then left with the two of them. Bei Li Yen and Qin Mingzhu glanced at each other, then the two of them also turned around and left. Seeing that the show was over, the onlookers also dispersed. 3 days later, the fourth round of the Tianyuan Academy's entrance examination began. This round of the test is still a team-based evaluation. All of you will be transported to a field where there are 250 jade tokens inside. The group that obtains the jade tokens will be qualified to enter the academy. The rest of you will be disqualified and will be allowed to compete with each other for the remaining spots. The test will end after 10 hours. We will begin now, said the instructor in charge of the test. A white light flashed in front of everyone's eyes. When they opened their eyes, they had already entered a sealed test field. Everyone could not wait to start their search for the jade tokens. Yun Chujio still behaved as leisurely as before. She poked her head forward to take a look and then simply sat on the spot. She did not have any intention of going around to look for it. Junior sister Little Jiu, aren't we going to do anything? If we start too late, I'm afraid that the jade tokens will be gone. Feng Ming asked in puzzlement. Senior brother Feng Ming, do you think we can keep the jade tokens even if we can find them? Once we get our hands on the jade tokens, we will become targets. We are just looking for trouble. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said. Junior sister Little Jiu, although what you said makes sense, we can't just give up like this, can we? Shi Xian frowned and said. In any case, it's only 10 hours. There's no rush. Let them fight among themselves for a while. We will pick up the scraps when the time comes, Yun Chujio said slyly. Although Feng Ming and the other two did not know how Yun Chujio intended to accomplish that, they already had some confidence in Yun Chujio. Therefore, they accompanied Yun Chujio to meditate and rest. Chapter 10:10, Forming an alliance. At this moment, some examinees had already discovered jade tokens. However, there were 8 iron golems who guarded the jade token. These iron golems were exquisitely made. Although they did not know how to use spiritual energy attacks, however, blades and swords could not harm them in the slightest. Wind blades and fireballs were also ineffective. More than a dozen examinees were stopped in their tracks by the 8 iron golems. Most of the others had also found jade tokens in various locations, but they were also surrounded by 8 iron golems. Although the tokens just hung there waiting to be collected, nobody could not get past the iron golems. Time passed quickly. These people did not get a single jade token. Some of the smarter examinees remembered the situation with the illusion and had an idea. They looked around, looking for Yun Chujio's figure. After searching for a long time, they finally found Yun Chujio and the other 3 at the entrance. They saw Yun Chujio and the other 3 playing cards. Yun Chujio, why aren't you going to try and find the jade tokens? A tall and thin man asked. Aya, our spiritual power is too weak. We can't compete with you guys at all. So I give up. You guys go ahead. Yun Chujio looked like she had given up. The man rolled his eyes. Yun Chujio, how about we form an alliance? If we ally with a few groups, no one can do anything to us. We can swear on our inner demons that we will never betray you. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Are you guys in trouble? The lanky man smiled awkwardly. To tell you the truth, the tokens are guarded by iron golems. Although those jade tokens are right in front of us, we have no way to get past those guards. You are resourceful, so we want to ally with you to help us get those jade tokens. Yun Chujio nodded. I see. Thank you for thinking highly of me. However, if none of you have a way, what can I possibly do? Yun Chujio, we believe in you. You must have a way to get around the golems. The people who wanted to form an alliance were also desperate. Their spiritual power was not outstanding, and only by forming an alliance could they have a chance of winning. Moreover, they felt that if Yun Chujio could break through the illusion, perhaps she could also deal with this refined iron puppet. Yun Chujio thought for a moment and then said slowly, all right, after we play finish round, I'll go with you to take a look. The tall and thin man was about to cry. Auntie, do you realize the situation we are in? You still want to play cards? Just how carefree are you? Yun Chujio, Great Aunt Yun, Ancestor Yun, this card game can be played at any time. Our prescribed time is almost up. Let's go over first. If we can pass the test, we will take turns playing with you in the future. Don't play now. Yun Chujio then stood up and clapped her hands. Alright, I'll go with you guys to take a look. Sigh, as expected, a tall tree only attracts the wind. I originally wanted to keep a low profile, but now it seems that I am too outstanding. Even if I want to hide it, I can't. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. Feng Ming and the other 2 fared better. They were already numb to her behavior. When had the 20 people ever seen such a thick-skinned person? They suddenly felt that perhaps they were thinking too much. Did she get lucky earlier when she broke the illusion? Yun Chujio was surrounded by everyone as she walked forward. Some examinees with low spiritual power saw this and thought to themselves, since they cannot compete with others in terms of spiritual power anyway, they might as well try their best. If they followed Yun Chujio, they might be able to pass the final round of tests. Therefore, when Yun Chujio arrived at the place where the jade token was located, there were already nearly 200 people gathered behind her, and they also took the initiative to request an alliance with Yun Chujio's group. Yun Chujio did not reject anyone who came forward. As long as they swore to each other in their hearts that they would not betray each other, they would be taken in. Chapter 10-11, They Can't Do Anything to Us. Yin Sulian looked coldly at Yun Chujio being surrounded by all those people and sneered in her heart. It was like the saying birds of a feather flock together. These trash that supported Yun Chujio's rotten feet all had low spiritual power. They were just rabble. Did they really think that Yun Chujio was that powerful? If they could not even subdue those iron golems, what makes them think she could? In her dreams, Yun Chujio did not immediately make a move. Instead, she stood at the side and watched some people fight those iron golems. Although those examinees' spiritual power attacks were very fierce, they were unable to cause any fatal damage to those iron golems. Many examinees were so tired that they were panted heavily. They sat at the side dejectedly. They had no chance of winning against those iron golems. However, some examinees discovered something about the golems. As time passed, those iron golems slowed down a little. These iron golems probably relied on spirit stones to sustain themselves. The longer they fought, the faster the spirit stones were used up. When those examinees discovered this weakness, they immediately cheered up. Let's continue attacking. Once these iron golems run out of spirit stones, we can get past them and grab the jade token. Many examinees once again began to fight with the golems. Finally, the spirit stones of the golems were completely drained. They stopped moving and the jade token was snatched by a group. Before the group could rejoice, they were surrounded by dozens of people who were so anxious that their eyes turned red. A chaotic battle began. Yun Chujio looked in that direction, then, she said slowly, "See? If we get the jade token, that will happen. So, we have to think of a perfect plan. Not only do we have to get the jade token, but we also have to keep it from being taken by others. Yun Chujio, there are more than 200 people with you. Or should we be afraid of them? That's right. Although our spiritual power is weaker than theirs, we have more people. They are scattered. They can't do anything to us." Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, "I have a way to protect our jade tokens from being taken away by others." "What way?" Everyone looked at Yun Chujio. "Pass the jade tokens with me. Then you guys surround me. As long as we delay the others until the time is up, they won't be able to take away the jade tokens." Yun Chujio said with a smile. The corners of Feng Ming and the other two's eyes twitched. Junior sister Little Jiu was definitely trying to slack off. With more than 200 people protecting her, even if these people's spiritual power was low, they would be fine. Although those people also felt that Yun Chujio was a bad *SS, what she said was not without merit. If they protected her, as long as they persevered until the end of the test, they would all be able to pass. Everyone agreed to Yun Chujio's request one after another. Then, they realized that they had forgotten an important point, and that was, they hadn't gotten the jade tokens yet. What were they trying to protect? Wasn't this just daydreaming of success? Yun Chujio, we agree with your suggestion. But, shouldn't we get the jade tokens first? A tall and thin man said with a dumbfounded look. Of course. We have a total of 50 teams. We can get 50 jade tokens. It's a piece of cake. Yun Chujio said nonchalantly. Her tone made the jade tokens sound like they were just cabbages that she could take any time she wanted to. Those people also felt that Yun Chujio was boasting. Each jade token was guarded by 8 iron golems. Those iron golems were not easy to deal with. Because of the time limit, even if they concentrated their spiritual power to attack those iron golems, it was already good enough to be able to get 10 jade tokens, but the hope of getting 50 was too slim. Chapter 10-12, The Mysterious Yun Chujio. Some of the teams had already managed to get some jade tokens. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, they could not help but mock. Some people really overestimated themselves. Aren't they afraid that they might bite off more than they could chew? 50 jade tokens. Do you think those iron golems are fools? Do you think they will let you take them? That's right. A motley crew of weaklings, and you still think you can pass the test. In 2 hours, the test will be over. Even if you are exhausted to death, you still won't be able to obtain 50 jade tokens. Some people don't know their place after being in the limelight once. They dare to agree to anything and they have to be responsible for their words. They believe anything that comes out of her mouth. This is the entrance test for Tianyuan Academy, not some kindergarten game. It concerns their future. Yun Chujio swept a glance at the people who spoke. Those people still followed her a few days ago and continuously thanked and praised her. She did not expect that their behavior had completely changed now. It was likely that the Yin siblings had done something to them. These bystanders were really too easy to bribe. However, the Yin siblings had bribed people with high spiritual power. They probably thought that the remaining people had no value, so they did not bother with them. When the examinees behind Yun Chujio heard the words of those people, their hearts became even more uncertain. However, they had no way out now, so they could only place their bets on Yun Chujio. Junior sister Little Jiu, what should we do? Feng Ming felt that the matter was getting complicated. Unless those puppets ran out of spirit stones, there was no way to subdue them. If they could not subdue them, then they could not get to the jade token. Yun Chujio smiled slyly. No matter how powerful these puppets are, they don't have brains. As long as we use a little trick, we can deceive these puppets. Although everyone felt that Yun Chujio's words made sense, however, they still raised their doubts. Yun Chujio, although what you said makes sense, these puppets fiercely protect the jade tokens. As long as someone gets close to them, they will attack. We have no way of getting to the jade tokens. Yun Chujio's eyes rolled. When she was watching others fighting with the iron golems, she took out a few pebbles from her storage ring and secretly flicked them towards the 8 golems. The 8 iron golems did not move toward her. What did this mean? She did not use her spiritual power when she threw the pebbles. The iron golems could only sense spiritual power fluctuations. As long as she did not use her spiritual power, she could easily get to the jade token. However, this secret could not be revealed, otherwise, there would be no chance for her to win. Yun Chujio secretly took off the hidden spirit ring on her hand. Then, she began her act and walked in front of the 8 iron golems. She smiled and said, "Everyone, we have no grudges against each other. Please do me a favor. When I get the jade token, I will thank all of you." After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she tilted her ears and listened. Then, she nodded her head as if she was taking it seriously. "Since everyone has agreed, then I'll help myself." Yin Sulian and the others pursed their lips. This Yun Chujio was most likely crazy. These iron golems did not have any weapon spirits at all. No matter how much you said, it would be like casting pearls before swine. It would be strange if they could understand you. However, to their horror, they discovered that Yun Chujio had actually gotten close to the 8 iron golems. The strange thing was that the 8 iron golems did not attack Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio leisurely entered the encirclement, after taking the jade plate on the stone platform, she slowly walked out and solemnly bowed to the 8 iron golems. Thank you, everyone. May you cultivate toward the great Tao. Chapter 10:13, Am I a moneygrubber? The onlookers felt as if they were dreaming. Yun Chuzhou managed to fool the 8 iron golems with just a few good words. How? How was that possible? Yun Chuzhou walked to the side of the 8 iron golems and said the same words. Then, she walked in leisurely and came out with a jade token in her hand. Throughout the whole time, the iron golems did not move at all. Yun Chuzhou did the same thing at the other locations and quickly obtained more than a dozen jade tokens. The others could not hold it in any longer and also imitated Yun Chuzhou's words to the iron golems. Then, they walked in and did not get too close, yet the iron golems moved and beat up those people. Those people wanted to cry but had no tears. Damn it, could it be that these iron golems only recognized beautiful women? At that moment, Yun Chuzhou had already easily obtained a large number of jade tokens. When Yin Sulian and the others saw that Yun Chuzhou had obtained the jade token so easily, they were so depressed that they wanted to dash their heads against the wall. Especially those who had yet to manage to obtain a jade token, their intestines almost turned green with regret. If they had known earlier, they would have followed Yun Chuzhou. Although they wanted to grab the large number of jade tokens in Yun Chuzhou's hands, Yun Chuzhou was surrounded by 200 people. She looked at them with a smile, as if they could not do anything to her. Although everyone was gritting their teeth in anger, there was only a limited amount of time left. It was impossible for them to break through the encirclement of these people and snatch the jade tokens. If they had the time, they might as well try their luck with the iron golems. However, they were very uncertain in their hearts. There was no way for them to exhaust the spirit stones of the iron golems within an hour. Could it be that they had no way to enter the Tianyuan Academy? At this moment, a melodious voice rang out, "Hey, do you guys want the jade tokens?" Everyone looked at Yun Chuzhou who was speaking and hope rose in their hearts. Yun Chuzhou and the others only needed 50 jade tokens, but she had more than 100 of them in her hands now. Those extra jade tokens were useless to her. Did that mean that she would give them the unwanted tokens? As she thought of the third round of the test, Yun Chuzhou was the most greedy person. She shouted, "I Yun Chuzhou, will sell you one of the surplus jade tokens for 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. 20,000. I'll give you 20,000. Sell it to me. 30,000. 50,000. 100,000. Everyone knew that this was their only chance to enter the Tianyuan Academy. They would risk everything to buy a jade token. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes, and her heart was already bursting with joy. This was a great opportunity to make a fortune. Although she was eager to sell the jade tokens in her hands, on the surface, she appeared to be in a difficult position. Everyone, although the extra jade tokens are indeed useless, with so many of you here, the jade tokens are limited. Who should I sell them to? Yun Chuzhou, this is a business negotiation. Naturally, the one with the highest bid will get it. I'll offer 150,000 spirit stones. A fatty shouted. I'll offer 160,000. 180,000. 200,000. The crowd once again raised the bidding price, as if they had gone crazy. Yun Chuzhou sighed faintly. Everyone, humans love money. Am I that kind of person who loves money? What do you mean by buying and selling the tokens? How hurtful. I'll give you the jade tokens for free. What was that? Everyone could not believe their ears. There was such a good thing. Moreover, this Yun Chuzhou was very greedy. Would she give up such a good opportunity to earn money? Chapter 1014. There must be a problem with the display screen. Just as everyone stared in disbelief, they heard Yun Chuzhou continue, however, I know that all of you are people who care about face. You must be feeling uneasy after taking the jade token that I worked so hard to obtain. How about this, you just have to be willing to give me some money for my hard work. 200,000 is too much, and many people can't afford it. How about this, just give me 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. You guys can draw lots to decide who gets the jade token. I'll give it to whoever gets it. Whether or not you can get the jade token will depend on your luck. When the crowd heard this, although they felt like they were just spewing nonsense, they still said the words, Junior Yun is really generous. This method is fair, let's do it. Yun Chuzhou got someone to make a ball of paper for drawing lots. Then, she put it into a box and asked the crowd to draw lots. The person who drew the winning lot was so excited that he was dancing with joy, while the person who did not, could only complain about his bad luck. Yun Chuzhou had money in one hand and goods in the other. She also received several million high-grade spirit stones. She was so happy in her heart. These people needed to grow some brains. It was an easy way to get so many spirit stones in such a short time. Everyone, these spirit stones are all thanks to you. I, Yun Chuzhou, am not a person who eats alone. After we leave, I will transfer 10,000 high-grade spirit stones to each of you. Although Yun Chuzhou felt her heart ache, to live a good life in the Tianyuan Academy in the future, she had to make some sacrifices. Those people simply felt that they had received a windfall from the heavens. 10,000 high-grade spirit stones was no small amount. It was enough to pay off a year's worth of tuition fees. It was truly a small fortune. Not to mention 10,000, even 1,000 high-grade spirit stones were considered a lot. They did not expect Yun Chuzhou to be so generous. Many people had developed a vague idea in their hearts. If they could follow Yun Chuzhou, there would be benefits. If there was still a chance in the future, should they still follow Yun Chuzhou? She had the confidence, and there was still money to be made. Was it not a great deal? Yun Chuzhou saw the change in everyone's eyes. She had recovered from the trauma of giving up 2 million high-grade spirit stones in one go. Those who wanted to achieve great things had to be willing to make sacrifices. These 2 million high-grade spirit stones were worth it. At that moment, in the small square outside, the instructors were all looking at the display screen with dumbfounded expressions. The group that had obtained a jade token would have a jade token icon appear in front of their group name. In the beginning, there were a few groups that had a jade token in front of their names. Everyone was still sighing. This year's batch of examinees' qualifications were truly a little inferior compared to the previous batches. It had been so long, and only a few dozen groups had managed to obtain the jade token. It was estimated that this round of recruitment round would be another round of additional examinations. Just as they were animatedly discussing what to do, they were stunned to discover that the jade token icons had started to appear non-stop in front of group 250, one after another. In the end, the number 250 was squeezed into the third row. The first thought in everyone's mind was, the display screen has gone crazy. What's going on? What's wrong with group 250? How did they get so many jade tokens? This is impossible. There must be a problem with the display screen. Yeah, no matter how powerful they are, they can't defeat so many iron golems at once. Not to mention them, even with our cultivation level, we can't get so many jade tokens. Instructor Xiao raised his eyebrows. The display screen couldn't be faulty. They must have really managed to get so many jade tokens. This group 250 was always doing the unexpected. How did they do it? Look, there are fewer jade tokens now. There must be a problem with the display screen. Chapter 10:15. A kind-hearted girl like Junior Yun. The instructors discovered that, as expected, the number of jade tokens in front of Group 250 was rapidly decreasing. Correspondingly, jade tokens began to appear in front of other groups. Not bad. I guess the statistics were wrong just now. Now it's back to normal. Everyone interpreted it in this way. Only Instructor Xiao and the others felt that things were not that simple. Fortunately, the test was about to end. When the time came, they could just ask the examinees. Not long after, the examinees were sent out. Some were happy, while others were worried. Yin Sulian shouted, "Instructors, I want to make a report. Yun Chujio is inside buying and selling jade tokens. She should be disqualified." Those who bought the jade tokens wanted to strangle Yin Sulian to death. If Yun Chujio was punished, wouldn't we also be implicated? "Instructor, Yin Sulian is slandering us. We didn't spend any spirit stones to buy them. We only gave Yun Chujio spirit stones to express our gratitude. We gave them to Yun Chujio voluntarily. It's not a business deal like she said." "That's right. How could such a kind girl like Junior Sister Yun do something like buying and selling jade tokens? Yin Sulian is slandering Junior Sister Yun because of her grudge against Junior Sister Yun. This is too much." "That's right, Junior Sister Yun is willing to help others and helped us obtain the jade tokens. How could it be a business relationship?" "Yin Sulian, keep your thoughts to yourself, you can't slander Junior Yun like this." The 200 people who had followed Yun Chujio from the beginning also shouted indignantly, "That's right. We can also testify that there was no business at all. It's all Yin Sulian's slander." These people thought to themselves, they had accepted 10,000 high-grade spirit stones from Yun Chujio. If Yun Chujio was punished, they would not be able to escape. Moreover, their 10,000 spirit stones would also be confiscated. Damn Yin Sulian, how hateful. Yin Sulian never thought that she would once again become the target of public criticism. She turned her gaze to those examinees who did not receive the jade token. "Why aren't you saying anything? You did not get the lot, don't you feel cheated?" The examinees looked at each other. Damn it, they were not stupid. Even if they admitted it, they would not gain anything. They might even be disqualified from next year's test. Since that was the case, why should they meddle? Yin Sulian was so angry that her face turned red. She looked at the examinees who got the jade tokens with her own ability and said, Are you all mute? You. Tell me, am I telling the truth?" Those examinees looked at each other. It was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. In any case, they had already obtained the qualifications to be admitted, so there was no need to stir up trouble. Moreover, that Yun Chujio had also said at that time, she was not selling the jade token, but it was the hard work paid by those people voluntarily, so no one said anything. Instructor Xiao frowned. "Yin Sulian, since there is no evidence, let's drop this matter. The examinees who have obtained the jade token have already been officially admitted by the Tianyuan Academy. They will officially be enrolled in 3 days. Everyone can leave now." Yin Sulian still wanted to say something, but Instructor Xiao did not give her a chance to speak. He directly sent someone to lead the examinees out. Shopkeeper Qi was waiting in the large square outside. At that moment, the screen had already displayed the list of the people who had been accepted this time. Yun Chujio and the other 3 were shockingly on the list. He was finally relieved. Shopkeeper Qi recalled that he had thought that the 4 of them enrolling were just wishful thinking. He did not expect them to really qualify to enter the Tianyuan Academy. Just as Shopkeeper Qi was thinking about it, he saw Yun Chujio being surrounded by the crowd like a victorious queen. Chapter 10:16. The cheapskate had turned over a new leaf. Shopkeeper Qi was very puzzled. Why did those people look so grateful to Miss Jo? Could it be that like the third round, she was in the limelight again? Yun Chuzhou finally got rid of those enthusiastic examinees and jumped in front of shopkeeper Chi. Shopkeeper Chi, we were all accepted. Shouldn't you give us the tuition fees now? Shopkeeper Chi never expected that to be the first thing Yun Chuzhou would say. He coughed dryly. Miss Jo, I'll transfer it to you right away. When shopkeeper Chi had reported to the palace mistress previously, the palace mistress felt that Yun Chuzhou and the others would not be able to enter the Tianyuan Academy, so she agreed. Yun Chuzhou looked at the storage ring that held an additional 200,000 high-grade spirit stones, and her mood instantly blossomed like 100 flowers. She felt that the Tianyuan continent was not so bad after all. The heavenly lightning here was kind enough to help her expel the demonic beasts, although those two scumbags from the Yin family had a worryingly low IQ. There were also those three wenches who coveted the gigolo right under her nose, yet she could not do anything about it. Most importantly, despite those few bad apples, the people here were really generous. In the blink of an eye, they had made a lot of money. She was looking forward to her future life in the Tianyuan continent. Yin Sulian watched Yun Chuzhou's smug look from the side, and she was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Yun Chuzhou, just you wait. Even if you enter the Tianyuan Academy, I still have a way to deal with you. Yun Chuzhou and the other three followed shopkeeper Chi back to the Long Wind Inn. Yun Chuzhou eagerly sent a voice transmission talisman to Di Biming. My idol, are you there? Did you miss me? Di Biming's deep voice came out from the voice transmission talisman. Yes. Yun Chuzhou pouted. The pretty boy was as arrogant as ever. However, compared to his venomous tongue towards those three wenches, he was already very placid with her. I've successfully entered the Tianyuan Academy, aren't you going to praise me a little? Yun Chuzhou said sneakily. Not bad. Yun Chuzhou gritted her teeth. This gigolo could not keep his hands and eyes off her every time he saw her. Now, he was playing a game of words with her. Humph, gigolo, just you wait. When we meet, watch how I torture you. Just as Yun Chuzhou was gnashed her teeth, Feng's voice transmission talisman started to vibrate. Miss Jo, Your Excellency asked me to give you 10 million high-grade spirit stones as a gift. Yun Chuzhou's eyes opened wide, thinking that she had heard wrongly. After confirming it another 3 times, she confirmed that the cheapskate had turned over a new leaf. The resentment that she had just felt suddenly disappeared. She took out her voice transmission talisman and said, Dear Prince Charming, I realize that I love you more and more each day. I love you so much that I don't want to. If I give you 20 million, would you love me even more? Di Biming teased through the voice transmission talisman. Prince Charming, am I such a shallow person? Can you buy me over with just 20 million? My love for you has nothing to do with spirit stones. Oh. I have already sent a message to Feng to ask him to transfer 20 million high-grade spirit stones to you. Since you think that this is a little shallow, then I will only give you 10 million instead. Yun Chuzhou wished that she could strangle herself to death. She wanted to call him a blabbermouth and call him a bastard. 10 million upper-grade spirit stones flew away just like that. She gritted her teeth and swallowed those words. She forced a smile and said, Prince Charming, 10 million is enough. I'm not greedy at all. After you enter the school, cultivate well and don't get into trouble, Di Biming warned. Got it. Prince Charming, you should also take care of your body. Remember to guard against fire, theft, and seductresses. Yun Chuzhou pouted. He always told me not to cause trouble. When have I ever caused trouble? Chapter 10:17, the Huang class Yun Chuzhou put away the voice transmission talisman and went downstairs to look for Enfeng. Miss Jiu, I'll stay in the Long Wind Inn in the future. If you have anything to say, you can send a voice transmission talisman to me or come to me directly, Enfeng said respectfully. Yun Chuzhou nodded and then said with a smile, pass me your excellency's congratulatory gift. When Enfeng had given her the 20 million upper-grade spirit stones, she was so happy that she could not close her mouth. It turned out that the pretty boy was not just playing with her. It was really strange for the pretty boy to be so generous all of a sudden. Yun Chuzhou gave another 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones to Enfeng. Little madman, this is a reward for you. Save it for your wife. Enfeng was shocked. The 9th miss was too generous. 9th miss, I was just doing my job. This reward is too much. It's no big deal. I earned over 3 million during the test today. Spirit stones are just a number to me now, Yun Chuzhou said proudly. 9th miss, how did you earn money during a test? Enfeng was stunned. What said she earned over 3 million during the test? What did this mean? Yun Chuzhou told him about the 4th round of the test. Enfeng was stunned. The only one who could earn money during a test was Miss Jiu. Most importantly, those people were willing to pay for it and even help to hide it. There was no one else who could pull such a thing off. Little madman, I realized that you people from the Tianyuan continent are generous. You didn't even blink your eyes when it came to 100,000 spiritual stones. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Enfeng's eyes twitched violently. He did not blink an eye. People risk usually their lives when trying to enroll in Tianyuan Academy. Little madman, I heard that Tianyuan Academy is divided into the Tian class, D class, Xian class, and Huang class. An excellent entrance test result like mine should put me in the Tian class, right? Yun Chuzhou said proudly. Enfeng nodded. Normally, the classes are divided according to the entrance test results. Then I must be in the Tian class. In the future, if you come to the academy to look for me, just come to the Tian class to look for me, Yun Chuzhou said with confidence. 3 days later, Yun Chuzhou brought Feng Ming and the other two to Tianyuan Academy in high spirits. On the display outside the square, the information about the class distribution had already been posted. Yun Chuzhou said to Feng Ming with confidence, we are definitely in the Tian class. You can just look for our names in the Tian class. Feng Ming and the other two also felt that if they were to be divided according to the test scores, the 4 of them should be placed into the Tian class. However, after looking at the Tian class list several times, they still could not find their names. Instead, they saw the names of Yin Sulian and Yin Xuecheng. Feng Ming and the other two hurriedly looked through the list of the D class, but they still could not find their names. Just as they were preparing to look through the Xian class list, Yin Sulian walked over. TSK, Yun Chuzhou, although you have passed the test by luck, the academy's instructors have sharp eyes. The Huang class. Ha ha ha. That is the famous class for trash. Yun Chuzhou, trash will always be trash. Moreover, I heard that the Huang class has not been set up for many years. It must be because you are too trashy that the academy has re-established the Huang class this year. Yun Chuzhou frowned. Her eyes scanned the Huang class name list. Indeed, she saw the names of her, Feng Ming and the other two. Although she was a little puzzled, however, she stayed calm and composed. Yin Sulian, aren't you afraid of offending all the students of the Huang class with your words? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.